FM and the Odyssey app, which is free. AUDACY. You can listen to us wherever you are live, and you can go back and get the podcast later again for the low price of free. We want to hear from you today. Call and text us 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900, voicemails 314-944-1120. Guess what? We're on the socials at the show KMOX.
Time now for the top of the order. The top three stories everybody will be talking about.
Some pretty big news earlier in the week, Amy. While you were gone, both Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson relieved of their duties within about the course of an hour. Lemon from CNN and Carlson from Fox News. Carlson, Tucker, last night with a statement released on, a video statement that is, released on Twitter. We'll get to that coming up.
And I don't want to be accused of being held in contempt of headlines, but Kim Gardner yet again is being held in contempt of court, the second time this week, and we know this has happened multiple times. We will delve into the latest case of Kim Gardner's scandals.
And if it happens late on the West Coast, does it even really count? Well, the Cardinals lose again in San Francisco last night, and they send down their top prospect, Jordan Walker. He goes to AAA. Oh, Amy, this was some news this morning. Jerry Springer, who was the talk show host, very, very popular talk show host for a long time. A show that you could watch at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon when most people were wrapping up work. This show was for people who never went to work that day. And it was really, really something. It was quite a phenomenon. And Springer passed away. We get word today, his family saying that he was diagnosed with cancer months ago. Don't know what kind. Must have been aggressive. His health took a turn for the worse. And here we are at 79 years old. Jerry Springer passed away. And I would have to imagine that this was not your kind of guy. Like the Springer show was not a thing that you watched.
No, I didn't watch it. We joked about it, and you would see it on TV. One time we went to Tiffany's Diner in Maplewood and eating breakfast at this, where they're slinging hash browns and eggs, and on the TV, and it was perfect. It was a box TV. The picture was kind of cutting out.
That's how it was supposed to look.
Yes, and it was absolutely perfect. You could not have scripted it any better, and that's where we sat and watched Jerry Springer.
Just a really, what a fascinating thing it was. It was strict entertainment. It was really stupid. I didn't actually like the show. I did watch it. I had roommates who swore by it, so it was on all the time, and they would record it so that we'd have to go back and watch it later. It didn't do anything for me, but it did change, probably not for the better.
Yeah.
At the time, if you remember, it was Oprah, and Phil Donahue was the thing for many, many years, and they were just pretty calm talk shows where people were talking about issues and policy, and sometimes it would go off the rails. But at one point, Springer was exactly that. It was like a Phil Donahue clone. And then I don't know where it came from, but it was just decided one time that, hey, we're going to go off the rails here. And every single show is going to be us, voyeurs, looking at the lives of people who are having all kinds of trouble and then being happy that we are not those people. And that's what it turned into. And that's what Maury Povich then turned into. And it just
was it Montel Williams, kind of like that? Remember Montel Williams in the 90s? He came later.
Yeah, I think a little bit like that, but it wasn't to the degree that Springer was.
Right.
And I wouldn't say it wasn't necessarily good for us that we did it. But if you just looked at it for what it was hugely entertaining at the time.
I know a lot of it was scripted, scripted / real, like the WWE.
Yeah.
And how, when you think about it, was that not the gateway to reality TV? Like somehow if you mash up Jerry Springer and Cops and you get the shows we have today, like the Real Housewives and Keeping Up with the Kardashians and just watching train wrecks. It's like everybody knew that sex sells. Everybody's known that for a long time, but then they also realized that train wrecks sell.
I think it's the two things might be associated. I think it really starts with The Real World
Yeah.
on MTV, which was in the mid 90s, early 90s. And I watched that. And that was interesting when it first started because it was, let's throw 7 people together from different backgrounds who don't look the same and see how it goes in a house. And the first few seasons were really compelling. And then they decided, well, let's just put 7 hot people together
Right.
and watch
Because
them hook
sex
up.
sells, remember?
Yeah, like watch them. The first few seasons of The Real World, good. Everything after that, horrible.
Mhm.
Just absolutely horrible. Springer was a different thing. It did, I think, exacerbate the voyeurism of television, but it was more of a look at these low-class people and what they're going through, and thank God I'm not them.
Right.
Like, that's the feeling it created, and I'm not sure it was necessarily good. I think there's a lot of bad that comes from that, but whatever. It was something, man. When I worked in Chicago, there was a several year period where our studio, an Odyssey station, was in the same building, was in the NBC tower where Springer was filming, where he filmed every day.
Mhm.
I saw him one time. We had about a 12-second interaction. We got on the elevator together. We go up a couple of floors. He gets on and he looks just tired. He looks like he's been up for 40 straight hours. And he's rubbing his face under his glasses. And I said to him, I'm thinking, do I start a conversation here? It's Jerry Springer. My God,
Mhm.
I have to say something. So I said, long day today, like a doofus. And he goes, yeah. And we've got 2 more of these shows to do today. And they are so stupid. And then the elevator doors opened. He got off.
Yeah.
And that was it. And that was the only time I ever saw him. So there was an awareness.
Mhm.
And you could tell when the fighting on the stage started, the arguing between the couples, he would just walk away and then not say a word for minutes and just let that go. And I'm sure he was standing there watching it going, I hate this. This is so dumb, but man, the pay is great.
Yeah. It's better probably than when he got paid to be mayor.
Of Cincinnati?
That's right.
And
I
then-
didn't know that for a very long time. I'm pretty sure maybe when I was a kid, my parents, you'd see the show on and they'd laugh and say, and this guy used to be the mayor of Cincinnati, a somewhat serious position. But yeah.
And then you have to apologize sometimes.
I'm Jerry Springer, and I want to be your governor. Now, after sharing some specific solutions for our unemployment and education problems in this state, it looks like the nomination is finally within grasp, which makes what I'm about to tell you even more difficult. Some 9 years ago, I spent time with a woman I shouldn't have, and I paid her with a check.
Well, listen, Jerry, you do you, man.
And I paid her with a check.
That's how long ago that was.
That's incredible.
Can you imagine paying for that with a check?
Listen, I spent time with some woman that I shouldn't have, and I paid her with a check.
By all accounts,
That's amazing.
from what I hear, he was a nice enough fella to be around. I didn't really know him.
I mean, he seems nice to
Yeah.
have that commercial.
Yeah, he did. And then he went on to he's in that moment. He's recording that commercial, apologizing
Yeah.
to the citizens of Cincinnati
Yeah.
and Ohio. And he's thinking it does not get any lower than this. Do
Yeah.
you think he realized what was coming for him? That many years later, he would be the most popular daytime talk
Right.
show host in the country, aside from maybe Oprah, but for a very different reason.
I don't think he could have anticipated that. I don't think when you're running for governor, you think, if this doesn't work out, I'll be on a talk show where
No.
people are hurling chairs into the audience and questioning who the father is.
But it would be interesting to go back and watch, and I would encourage people. I'm sure there are some early days Jerry Springer shows on YouTube that you could watch. Go back and watch it because you'll be like, what is this show? Like, this is not the Springer that I know. It was serious, and they were talking about issues, and just I don't even remember the moment it flipped. I know it just happened suddenly where they decided, you know what our format is? People throwing chairs
Yeah.
now. That's our format. Anyway, rest in peace, Jerry Springer. He is part of American pop culture, good or bad. But he passed away at the age of 79. Amy Marks Kors is back. I'm Chris Ranji. We'll get into the Tucker Carlson thing in a moment and what he has to say after being fired by Fox News. That's coming up.
Well, if you are in the market for a new vehicle, you need to visit the St. Charles Automotive Group. And if you are looking for a Hyundai, go to St. Charles Hyundai. It's located on the St. Charles Automotive Group campus, which is conveniently located a quarter mile east of Mid Rivers Mall Drive, just off Highway 70. You can also visit them online at stcharleshyundai.com. Now, it's April 27th. Why does that matter? It means we are running out of time because right now, St. Charles Hyundai is offering 0% APR financing on select Hyundai models now through May 1st. So you really need to get on over there. As I mentioned, it's conveniently located a quarter mile east of Mid Rivers Mall Drive, just off Highway 70. You can also check out the cars at stcharleshyundai.com. And what's so great about St. Charles Hyundai is they want to make you a great deal on a new car. And if you go there, knowing what car you want, you can quite literally be in and out in under 60 minutes from the time you take your test drive to the time you sign the papers and dry off with your new Hyundai, less than 60 minutes. If you want more time, take all the time you need. You can hang around their beautiful new state-of-the-art Hyundai building. They just finished it. They're putting the final touches on it now. You want to check it out. Visit them today, St. Charles Hyundai, stcharleshyundai.com.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to KMOX for all the news, sports, talk, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
No April Fools here. Deals are blossoming at St. Charles Hyundai. Stop by soon because they're offering 0% APR financing on select Hyundai models through May the 1st. St. Charles Hyundai is the #1 volume Hyundai dealership in the St. Louis area. Since 2015, the selection is great and 0% APR financing on select Hyundai models at St. Charles Hyundai, just a quarter mile east of Mid Rivers Mall Drive, off Highway 70, or online at stcharleshyundai.com. St. Charles Hyundai.
Charlie Brennan here. Last year, Beth and I discovered water in the ceiling near the chimney in the front of our house. We immediately called Morelli Tuck Pointing, St. Louis's premier tuck pointer since 1991. The Morelli team then tuck pointed the front and the rear chimneys above the roof and spot tuck pointed below the roof. Morelli used a waterproof mortar that perfectly matched the existing mortar. Then the guys re-cemented the cap, sealed the flashing, and waterproofed the chimney. They then cleaned up so you could never tell any work was done. The Brennans no longer see any water in our front room, and I think if you live in a brick or stone home in need of repair, call the company that's received the Angie's List Super Service Award every year, back to back to back since 2005. Morelli, winner of the BBB Torch Award. Check out their reviews on the Google, Angie's List, and Better Business Bureau websites. MorelliTuckPointing.com, 314-645-1387.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Earth Day has passed, but you don't need a holiday to make an impact. Check your car's trunk and remove heavy items to improve gas mileage. Stock up on reusable bags to use at the grocery store, always keeping a few in your car. And be sure that you are recycling bottles, cans, and papers. The simplest things are often the most effective. When we each share one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Connect with KMOX on air, online, 11:20 a.m., 98.7 FM, KMOX.com.
Amy Marks Kors with us, back in studio. I'm Chris Ranji.
And I know we're going to talk about Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
We're also going to talk New York later in the show because the two kind of come together because I was in New York when Tucker Carlson left Fox News and there was a gathering.
Was there anybody leaving flowers?
I didn't see anybody leaving flowers. I didn't see any candles lit, but there was a gathering.
I should have gone to Atlanta and see if there were any flowers being left for Don.
Oh,
Right?
didn't they hang out? Didn't Don and Tucker hang out that day?
They did?
I don't know. I need to check on that.
How would they get together?
I don't know. Maybe he called him. I'm gonna check.
No, wait a minute.
Don't quote me on that, folks.
Am I wrong? I mean, the CNN headquarters is in Atlanta.
Uh-huh.
That's where
Yeah.
Lemon was, right? That's where they did the show,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I think I saw.
Or do they
half
have like a New
headline.
York studio that I'm unaware of?
Well, now I'm questioning everything.
I am too.
Let's move forward.
All right. Tucker Carlson, he spoke last night on his Twitter account.
Good evening, it's Tucker Carlson. One of the first things you realize when you step outside the noise for a few days is how many genuinely nice people there are in this country. Kind and decent people, people who really care about what's true, and a bunch of hilarious people also, a lot of those. It's got to be the majority of the population, even now. So that's heartening. The other thing you notice when you take a little time off is how unbelievably stupid most of the debates you see on television are. They're completely irrelevant. They mean nothing. In 5 years, we won't even remember that we had them. Trust me, as someone who's participated. And yet at the same time, and this is the amazing thing, the undeniably big topics, the ones that will define our future, get virtually no discussion at all. War, civil liberties, emerging science, demographic change, corporate power, natural resources. When was the last time you heard a legitimate debate about any of those issues? It's been a long time. Debates like that are not permitted in American media. Both political parties and their donors have reached consensus on what benefits them, and they actively collude to shut down any conversation about it. Suddenly, the United States looks very much like a one-party state. That's a depressing realization, but it's not permanent. Our current orthodoxies won't last. They're brain dead. Nobody actually believes them. Hardly anyone's life is improved by them. This moment is too inherently ridiculous to continue, and so it won't. The people in charge know this. That's why they're hysterical and aggressive. They're afraid. They've given up persuasion. They're resorting to force. But it won't work. When honest people say what's true, calmly and without embarrassment, they become powerful. At the same time, the liars who've been trying to silence them shrink, and they become weaker. That's the iron law of the universe. True things prevail. Where can you still find Americans saying true things? There aren't many places left, but there are some, and that's enough. As long as you can hear the words, there is hope. See you soon.
All of that entirely reasonable for a person to say, also entirely disingenuous coming from him.
See, I think we're on the same page on this, but I'm going to phrase it a different way. Tucker believes all of that. He knows all of that, and he knew it and believed it the whole time. And he whored himself out to the Trump, MAGA, Fox narrative for money. That's the real Tucker Carlson, the real Tucker Carlson who sent text to his buddies saying how much he despised Trump, who knew that the stolen election narrative was completely false. I think what we heard right there, that's the Tucker Carlson that was behind the face of Tucker Carlson on Fox News, who played his audience and grifted on the narrative, which is what who played on their anger, who got them riled up. He knows that calm news doesn't sell. It's not sexy enough. It's not fabulous enough. So he had to lie.
He spent his nights trying to make you angry.
Yes. So what we just heard right there, that's what Tucker Carlson believes. That's what he said behind closed doors. And then he lied and he spewed hateful rhetoric and nativist rhetoric and populist rhetoric to rile people up, knowing the whole time that he was playing a part.
I don't know, man. I think there's part of him that in his text messages to people like Hannity, it sure sounded to me like he was upset with the news department because they had called the election for the other guy, which if you're into truth and you're into not being a liar, that would not bother you unless you believe your brand is being injured, in which case you're really only concerned about your brand and you're concerned about bottom line and you're not really concerned about truth. So I don't.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both, right?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. But for somebody, and he acknowledged it, but he acknowledged it in passing that he's been involved in the quote stupid debates.
Yeah.
That he really doesn't debate on his show. His show is just monologues. And it's just telling you why you should be afraid of stuff and why you should be angry and who's taking what away from you. That's what his entire show has been.
And I think some of the lies, he knew they were lies, like the stolen election. Some of his rhetoric, I think he believes. I truly believe. I mean, he was a proponent. He endorses the Great Replacement theory.
Yeah, I don't think he's playing a part.
No, he rails against immigrants and minorities, and I think he truly believes that. He is very, I think, genuinely nativist in that sense, where the Christian nationalism and that. But man, he grifted.
I would like to know what people think. They might disagree with us. They might think we're stupid. Let us know. 314-436-7900 to text us if you like. You can. When we come back, though, we're going to talk to a regular guest, Major Garrett, Chief Washington Correspondent for CBS News. He visits with us in a moment on KMOX.
Following the Dave Glover Show at 5 o'clock, it's Total Information PM. Hey, I'm Michael Calhoun. Check in with Kevin Wheeler and me for the latest news and information. Roger covers your commute. Dave Murray's got the forecast. Matt Pauley has sports. We'll take deep dives on local issues and help you be a smarter consumer. At 5:30, the CBS Evening News helps you understand what's happening around the country and the world. Total Information PM at 5 o'clock, right after Dave Glover on the trusted voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here, and I see clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Malhotra, and you can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
Worldwide Technology, recognized as a great place to work for 12 years in a row, is hosting a supply chain career event on April 29th at their North American Integration Center in Edwardsville, Illinois, to connect with skilled professionals in the technology production and supply chain industries to fill dozens of roles. Positions include warehouse specialists and managers, production supervisors, configuration techs, and more. These jobs come with competitive pay, industry-leading benefits that even include your pets, and an award-winning culture with career development that gives you options to grow. Learn more and apply online at wwt.com/careers.
Carol Daniel for the Beam Central Vacuum System, giving you convenience, power, and clean air in your home. I know all this time we have spent at home the last couple of years left us looking at our homes a bit differently. Maybe you got work done, bought new furniture, but did you clear the air? You can with the Beam built-in vacuum system. So easy to use. The power unit is built in, so no more lugging of a heavy unit from room to room. You just plug the hose into the wall and go. The Beam is more powerful than an ordinary vacuum, and more power means it sucks more dirt out of your house or condo. And if you have dust-related allergies, you do need a Beam. Research shows use of a central vacuum system improves indoor air quality by over 50%. We're spending more time at home. Maybe you're even working remotely. Clear the air with the easy to install and easy to use Beam Central Vacuum System. Beam Central Vacuum System owners in the St. Louis region call it Beam Clean because no other vacuum can do what a Beam does. And you can learn more and get your Beam installed at beamstl.com. That's beamstl.com.
Beam's home sale is starting early. Every system for every size home now on sale.
At 10:30, we have cloudy skies and 56 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Carol Daniel. 170 at Brentwood Boulevard still closed at this hour. I can see on the screen that there is a tow truck that's picked up a vehicle apparently involved in an earlier crash. But again, 170 southbound at Brentwood is still closed at this hour. He was known for his enduring off-the-wall daytime talk show. Jerry Springer has died of cancer. Springer's family released a statement saying he passed away peacefully at his suburban Chicago home. Viewers got a dose of brawls, obscenities, and even blurred glimpses of nudity on the Jerry Springer Show from 1991 to 2018. The British-born Springer once explained the secret of the show's success during an interview with the BBC.
Yes, it's a stupid show. I always say our show is stupid, but for 1 hour, it's an escape from regular life.
Springer, also a former politician. He served as mayor of Cincinnati from 77 to 78. Jerry Springer was 79. Young people just don't want to be police officers anymore.
That's the mood of Jefferson County Police Academy instructor Officer Josh Lambridge.
I think my graduating class was somewhere between 15 and 20, and that is 12 years ago. or 11 years ago. And now I just helped teach a class at the police academy that had 5.
And now he's revamping a Police Explorers program with Arnold Police Department that teaches 14 to 20-year-olds what it's like to be a cop. I'll have more on Friday morning. Total Information AM. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
A Belleville school employee who brought a gun to Central Junior High School Monday could face charges. The St. Clair County State's Attorney says the woman left her purse in an employees-only area. When it was searched to find out who it belonged to, a handgun was found. She told police she had it for personal protection. A bat has tested positive for rabies at a home in Clayton. The county Department of Public Health says no one was bitten by the bat, but the people living there decided to get the rabies vaccine in case. And again, still looking at 170 Brentwood, 170 southbound at Brentwood, still closed at this hour, but could clear up shortly. And the northbound is only getting by in the right lane. The truck carrying the vehicle involved in an earlier accident is on the move, just now starting to move. So that could be cleared up any moment now. 170 Brentwood southbound, an earlier accident has it shut down, but the vehicle involved in that accident is being towed away at this moment. The KMOX forecast, a little rain and drizzle is possible this afternoon. The high 68 degrees, occasional rain and drizzle tonight. A shower is possible in spots as well. Right now it's cloudy and 56 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Carol Daniel, KMOX News.
Cardinals fans, baseball is back.
Down the line! Does it stay fair? You bet! It's a slammer!
Catch every pitch from every St. Louis Cardinals game live with News Radio 1120 KMOX on the free Odyssey app.
That's gone! Dylan Carlson!
The voices you know, the team you love.
It is Donner for Arenado!
Your St. Louis Cardinals, your Odyssey. Download the free Odyssey app today.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We recently received a call from an injured person. The insurance company had offered them $11,000. We took the case over and got more than $2 million in court. Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Broadcasting from the Underline Three Lawyers. GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Remember your childhood piggy bank and the satisfaction you felt finally reaping the rewards of your diligent savings? With TrueHold, you can access your biggest piggy bank, your home's equity, and start enjoying the retirement you plan for right now without having to move. Here's how. TrueHold will buy your home for its best current value while home values are high. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. Plus, TrueHold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance too. And since TrueHold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Start enjoying your home's equity while values are high. Visit TrueHold.com and discover how much TrueHold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
Find out what's happening with your Redbirds from the manager himself, Oliver Marmol. Sunday mornings at 10:15 on Sports on a Sunday morning, and Wednesday mornings at 9:50. The Ollie Marmol Show.
I'm excited for not only the club but for the fans. This is a special year for sure.
KMOX is Cardinals Radio.
Amy Marks Course, Chris Ranji on KMOX. She's showing me real estate in New York, like she's moving there. Glad you're with us today on this Thursday. We go to the guest line, and our regular guest who visits with us every Thursday at this time, Chief Washington correspondent for CBS News, Major Garrett, is on the phone. Good morning, Major.
Good morning, Amy. Where are you moving?
Well, there's this new building downtown New York, and it's beautiful. You get like 2 or 3 floors for each condo. So I think if I save up, I can do it. I can make it work.
I see. So you can get one of the closets on one of the floors.
That's exactly right. Okay, but I will say, Major, I was in New York this past week, and with your fellow CBS correspondent Pam Falk at the United Nations.
Here comes the brag.
Here's the brag, Major. We were taking a little tour with Pam when up walks the Secretary General of the United Nations as well as the Deputy Secretary General. They both stopped and chatted with us for several minutes, and it was really quite incredible.
Pam Falk is a tremendous asset for CBS at the UN, as you could tell walking around with her. Everybody there knows her, knows her well. She is deeply sourced there. And, of course, when they knew that Amy Mark's course was in the building, of course, the Secretary General stopped everything he was doing. Clear my schedule. Come on.
I was like, I didn't know what to say because I thought, like, what's the rule? Am I allowed to say hi? How does this work? He stopped. He said, oh, St. Louis, I'm reading a book on Ulysses S. Grant right now, and he has connections to St. Louis, doesn't he? He was so personable. I couldn't believe that I was just chatting with the Secretary General of the United Nations.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's humble brag, what you just heard all there.
Dude, it's all day.
Straight up brag.
She's like this every day.
I never have any interesting stories, Major. Nothing fun happens to me.
That's true.
I just got to brag.
She's a boring. Okay, Major, we want to ask you about what it means for the news business, the Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon all being let go in the course of an hour. But first things first, any thoughts on Jerry Springer, who we found out passed away this morning?
Not really. I didn't know Jerry other than to be aware of his TV show. I know he was mayor of Cincinnati. I know people who have met him, found him to be very personable and enjoyable to be around, different than the persona he had on his syndicated TV show. I can't say that he added great value to American television, but he added ratings, and that is a value proposition in television, for good or ill. But in the grand scheme of things, here's what aggravates me about the Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson story. They have all these headlines. There's all this commentary about these two particular individuals. Meanwhile, lots of really fundamentally great journalists at lots of different news organizations, BuzzFeed News, Vice News, the news came out today that Vice is closing down. There have been layoffs throughout the industry. And Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson are ratings people, and they are well-known names, and I understand the coverage thereof, but there's something else deeper going on right now. And the financial stresses on journalism, both national and local, continue to ravage the industry, and a lot of dedicated, hardworking, excellent journalists are losing their jobs at this point in time. And it's a stressful time in the business. I feel it all day in and day out, and particularly today.
Major, I know we talked about this a little bit when you were in town, but what role does Tucker Carlson, as a talking head, an opinion giver, not a reporter, not a true objective journalist, how much damage did he do to true journalists in the same way like Don Lemon or the talking heads, at other places like MSNBC, where they're giving opinions, and yet I think people confuse them with reporters and journalists?
Well, they confuse them because the industry has let that confusion reign supreme, because there are more ratings and opinion than there are in fact. And Fox was the first to monetize opinion in prime time, essentially declaring an end of the news day at 7 p.m. Then MSNBC followed. And then CNN during the Trump era with Don Lemon followed that as well. And yes, opinion is simpler. It makes you feel better. It makes you either get aggravated about things you're already aggravated about, which means it justifies your rage, or it gives you an idea about something you're not yet rageful about, and that somehow can bring in ratings and revenue. Opinion does get more ratings and revenue than fact, but that doesn't mean that facts aren't indispensable to the functioning of a democracy or an understanding of American basic civics. You can have editorial points of view, and that can inform facts, but if you're leading with opinion always, and then divorcing yourself, as Tucker Carlson relentlessly did, divorcing yourself from facts and only offering the most strident opinions imaginable, then you begin to warp the perceptions of your audience. And Tucker, clearly, this is not my opinion, these are facts derived from disclosures in the Dominion lawsuit, and since subsequent reporting in the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, and the New York Times, believed he was bigger than the company, believed he was bigger than anyone there, and could routinely and relentlessly insult network executives. And then when, in the Dominion case, Fox attorney said, well, we're going to redact all that. He said, no, redact. I want the world to know how much contempt I have for my colleagues here at Fox. He really believed that the audience was more important than anything, more important than Rupert Murdoch, Lachlan Murdoch, anyone there. And that conversation in his own head about how important he was, how self-important he was, is derived from the market value of opinion over fact. And that's a distinctly difficult problem for journalism to counter right now, because facts are getting sacrificed on in the grand ledger of the business of journalism, but opinion is not. Opinion still rates. Facts are having a hard time surviving. The industry has created some of these problems, manifested themselves in prime time, and it's a huge struggle.
The Democratic Party right now has a lead, a very thin lead in the United States Senate. And they're having some difficulty over the last couple of months because one of their senators out of California has not been available for votes. There was just the trucking emissions vote that passed barely yesterday that may not have had she been present. What's going to happen with the party? And there has been this idea that we can't, there's decorum here. We can't tell her she needs to resign or retire or whatever. What are they going to do?
Well, right now they're paralyzed. They don't want to violate what they consider to be the historical approach to issues like this. Constituents elected, constituents have the decision. And once you're elected by your constituents, only you are responsible to them. You are not responsible to a larger party structure if you don't want to be. Now, lots of senators play ball and do things in coordination with the larger party structure. But if you don't want to, the party structure can't force you to do anything. And the Democrats are not only losing on legislative matters or regulatory matters, like you mentioned yesterday, but they're not being able to move judges or other nominees for the Biden administration. And that's creating all sorts of problems. But if Feinstein doesn't want to move and doesn't want to budge, and there's no indication that she does, the party has not found the wherewithal or the gumption to say, hey, you've got to go. And the one simple reason for that is because they know there's nowhere to enforce that. They can ask her, they can tell her, they can suggest her, but they can't force her. And this is a conundrum. I've seen it play out before with Republicans and Democrats, people who stay in positions of power too long. And they can't be dislodged unless they're willing to go. And she's not willing to go, so this will persist.
If this margin was this thin of a lead for the Republican Party, would they act differently?
They might. They might. But again, what's the action? Okay, so you could say, issue a press release, have a press conference, and say, Dianne Feinstein should leave. She's a dear and trusted and beloved colleague, but she's got to go. And she says, no, I don't want to go. What are you going to do about it? Then you say, well, I'm going to issue another press release. And then they say, well, I'm not going to listen to that press release either. So what's the enforcement mechanism? When there isn't one, politicians will frequently tell themselves there's nothing I can do. Public pressure might do it. Gavin Newsom, the governor's not going to do it. No one who wants to occupy that seat, should she decide on her own to resign, wants to say anything, because they don't want to jeopardize their chance of getting that seat. So everyone is just sort of following this old school set of quote unquote norms while things for the Democratic agenda either stop or get reversed. And that's a problem. And only she right now can solve it. And she's showing no willingness to do that. And if Democrats can't resolve this and can't get her back in the Senate functioning and voting, this is going to continue to happen.
Major, before we let you go, just I guess 2 days ago, the Biden administration announced the evacuation of the U.S. Embassy in Sudan. However, there are still thousands of American citizens in Sudan, and the Biden administration said trying to coordinate evacuation of those American citizens would be too Herculean of a task. What is the status of those Americans, and what recourse do they have to get out of Sudan?
So it's about, the rough numbers are 16,000 Americans in and around Khartoum, which is the capital of Sudan. And right now, the Biden administration publicly is saying, find your own way out if you can. I understand the logistical difficulties. I understand the management difficulties. If you say there's an evacuation, then you might create a rush and a crowding and an unmanageable situation. You also would have to put much more personnel in there to manage that. They would become targets instantaneously. It is a very much live fire civil war. You don't know what the cooperation, if any, would be. There was cooperation evacuating our embassy personnel, but you don't know if the warring parties would cooperate and allow other American personnel to come in there to manage an evacuation. All of it is very, very difficult. There are overland routes out of there. There's American currency, which oftentimes solves problems like this, but it's a very dicey situation. I would say the Biden administration has been candid. That is to say, we're not going to do anything and cavalry's not coming, but I'm sure that is cold comfort to Americans who are there who feel stressed and would like to get out.
Who's on the takeout, Major?
So I'm en route to the destination right now. It's a diner called Unconventional Diner in Midtown Washington, D.C. Matt Friend. So if you know anything about comedy on Instagram or TikTok, you know Matt Friend well. He does more than 250 impersonations, most of them in the political realm. So this has been a comedy-heavy month on the takeout. It's going to continue to be this week with Matt Friend.
All right, Major Garrett, we appreciate it as always. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks.
That is Major Garrett, the Takeout Podcast. Download the Odyssey app and you can listen to it there. And of course, it is totally, totally free. Amy Marks-Kors is in. We appreciate Major Garrett, the Chief Washington Correspondent for CBS News, visiting with us every Thursday at 10:30 here on KMOX.
Celebrate 10 extraordinary St. Louis area women for their outstanding volunteer service and leadership at the 2023 Women of Achievement Luncheon at the Ritz-Carlton St. Louis. From volunteer leaders in human welfare and arts and education to multicultural advocacy and humanitarian concerns. Come celebrate the 2023 Women of Achievement on Tuesday, May 9th at the Ritz-Carlton St. Louis. Doors open at 11:15 a.m. Reservations at WOASTL.org. Presenting sponsors are KMOX Radio, St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and Ladue News. For more information, visit WOASTL.org.
Yes, with inflation, interest rate increases, and a possible recession looming, we are no doubt facing uncertain times in the housing market. But as a realtor with over 20 years of experience, I can tell you, if you're thinking of selling your home, now more than ever, you need a realtor to help you through these times while saving you money. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty, and we offer all of this for only 4%. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
This is it. The final days, the final hours of Diamonds Direct's amazing one-year spring store-wide sale. Everyone's loving this, but time is running out. You have until Sunday at 5 p.m. to take advantage of 20% savings on virtually everything. Big trunk shows all weekend with designers in-store. Save an extra 20% off rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, even engagement ring mountings. It's the biggest and best store-wide event all year with expanded hours this weekend, including open Sunday. Get all the details now at diamondsdirect.com.
When it comes to finding the perfect grill, family-owned and operated Cotton's Ace Hardware has you covered. Get free delivery and free fuel on any grills over $300 and free assembly and haul away of your old grills with the purchase of a new one. With a selection from Weber to Traeger and your local retailer of the Big Green Egg, Cotton's Ace Hardware makes it easier than ever to replace your old grill. Let Cotton's Ace Hardware make your family barbecue more enjoyable with that one-of-a-kind grill you've been looking for. Find your nearest St. Louis area location at cottonsacehardware.com.
You know that new sound you're looking for? Well, listen to this.
The show on KMOX.
Did you see that thing? I can't believe it. Something is obviously wrong.
This is a joke, right?
Oh my God. Are you freaking kidding me? No way.
You gotta be kidding me. Don't feel bad. There's no way you could have known that.
Now, did you see this with Chris and Amy on the show?
Amy Marks-Kors and Chris Ranji on KMOX today. And on the Today Show, in an interview that aired earlier today, Amy, the parents of the Louisville shooter, Connor Sturgeon, who he went into the bank, the old National Bank in Louisville, and worked there. And he was in his mid-20s, just started killing people that worked with him and shooting up the place for whatever reason. The parents were being interviewed by the Today Show today.
If you had a chance to say something to the families, what would you want to say?
We're so sorry.
We are heartbroken.
We wish we could undo it, but we know we can't.
What scares you about doing an interview like this?
We have a concern about inadvertently being disrespectful to the families. Our heart is just shattered for them and what they're going through.
Something like this is so complicated. But at the end of it all, Connor did this. He did.
And he did this to totally innocent individuals. There was no provocation, no justification, no rationalization at all. They were just trying to do their jobs, provide for their families. And they will never be the same due to his actions. And that's, if we could take it back, we would.
Amy, it's just such it's heartbreaking for parents, because I think there's this assumption on the part of the general public when a kid does something like this, a guy, that the parents screwed up. And I don't really know Todd and Lisa Sturgeon. Don't know them at all. Don't know anything about them, except they did this interview. At this point, I have no reason to believe they didn't do everything they could as parents to raise him properly. It's just sometimes, no matter what you do as a parent, this can happen. I think this is heartbreaking for them just as much as it is for anybody who has to deal with this situation. That is difficult to have to be them.
I don't know how you process that as a parent. I don't know how you live with yourself. I think one of the lines that the father, Todd Sturgeon, said really resonated, I think, with the situation, which is they're afraid, they don't want to be inadvertently offensive to the families of those who lost people, because obviously their son, it was their son. And I'm not a parent, you're not a parent. And you know how there's always that hypothetical that you hear with kids and parents, like, would you still love me even if I killed someone? That type of thing. You've heard that hypothetical. I'm not trying to be flippant. And the mom or the dad said, I would always love you. It'd be really hard, but I would love you. With something like this, as a parent, how do you reconcile any of the feelings, the anger you have? Do you look at it as if you've lost your son twice? Do you know?
Yeah.
You lost him as the human that he was, because it is a monstrous action that he took.
I honestly don't know how I would handle it. And it's easy for anybody to say, well, if you still are on their side or you still love them, then you're a monster too. Like, you don't know how you would react unless it happened to you. But I cannot fully imagine. I can try, but I can't fully imagine the devastation the parents and the family of all of his victims feel is extreme right now. I cannot imagine what it must be like if I was a pretty good parent. And again, we don't know that Lisa and Todd Sturgeon were. Maybe they were terrible parents. I don't know. But let's say they were. Let's say they were really good and he just got away. I can't imagine losing somebody in my family, a kid in particular, by his death because he was shot. He was, quote, neutralized, as shooters are. But then also knowing what he was doing to devastate multiple families in addition. Like, I don't know how you reconcile those two things.
And the control that a parent has once a child is an adult, it's significantly less than when that child is 8 or 10. I mean, if you're 17 even, but 18, 19, 20, 21, that child of the parents is an adult making their own decisions, bad or good. And yes, the parents can try to raise that child right. Who knows what type of mental health issues he was dealing with. He just decided to indulge the worst or most grotesque or evil inclinations that he had. Again, at some point, it's an adult. And the parent can try to influence, but they can't control. So I don't know what type of parents they were, but it's pretty much like you said, incomprehensible. And unless you're in it, you can't even begin to imagine what that must feel like. But it's got to feel like two deaths. One, the actual physical death of a child, but also that first death of, that's not a person that we raised. That's not, I don't want to say not the person we loved, but kind of, like maybe that was a 10-year-old boy. That's not the person they loved. He has gone a different direction.
And then the third level of grief of a person that I raised, that I love with everything, because it's my child, caused all of that intentionally.
I think you could feel hate and resentment towards that child.
What a horrible thing to put parents through. It's really unimaginable. And by the way, the mom calling police that day, telling them he's on the way to the bank to do this. It's truly, truly unbelievable. Amy Marks-Kors and Chris Ranji, we're glad you're with us. Hour 1 is done. Hour 2 coming up on KMOX.
Hey, it's Debbie Monterey for my friend and trusted realtor, Gloria Liu, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, with some exciting updates for serious home sellers. Gloria Liu understands that every seller situation is different. For some sellers, a 24-hour cash offer solution is a great option to consider. Gloria's 24-hour cash offer solution is for sellers who want no risk, no open houses, don't want to make costly repairs, and want to pick their own closing date. If that sounds like you, call Gloria Liu for a no-obligation 24-hour cash offer. You will have exclusive access to her group of cash buyers who bid against each other in what Gloria calls her cash offer bid box, giving you the best cash offer. These are cash buyers in waiting willing to pay 100% or more of market value. Call Gloria Liu at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Celebrate 10 extraordinary St. Louis area women for their outstanding volunteer service and leadership at the 2023 Women of Achievement Luncheon at the Ritz-Carlton, St. Louis. Tuesday, May 9th. Doors open at 11:15 a.m. Learn more about this year's honorees and make luncheon reservations at WOASTL.org.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Paramount Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Brown. The physicians at Paramount Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Paramount Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
KMOX KECK HD2 K254CR St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Underlaw, we take on the establishment and challenge corporations to be better for the safety of our community.
Call Onderlaw Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 6189 million.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. Find tools for the job site or your own backyard at over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and the Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
Awarded 2023 Large Market Radio Station of the Year by the Missouri Broadcasters Association, KMOX.
At 11 o'clock, it's a cloudy sky, 60 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour. The on-again, off-again Delmar Loop trolley is back in service as of today.
Some people hate it. Some people love it. Some people are like, eh. But now that Metrolinx operator Bi-State Development is in charge of the trolley, longtime supporter Joe Edwards says it'll finally be dependable.
Every 15 or 20 minutes, it'll be there during these hours. And that was not possible. Now it's possible.
The trolley will run from 11 to 7 Thursdays through Sundays until late October. It goes back and forth from the Loop to the History Museum in Forest Park. And now it's free to ride. Scott Jagal, KMOX News.
If local departments are hiring police officers, who's filling the positions?
This is Stuart McMillan with Officer Josh Lambrich of Arnold PD. He's teaching a local police academy, and he tells me his last class only had 5 students.
Folks aren't wanting to go to school to become a police officer anymore, so...
What's changed?
I think what changed in law enforcement is I think these young people see us as this authority figure and this dictator type ship. And hopefully in this program, they can see us as actual human beings.
Lambrich has revamped the Police Explorer program in Jefferson County to get teens as young as 14 to learn what it takes to be a cop. Hear more on Total Information AM Friday.
Willie says one night of bad decisions is his biggest regret. Willie, what's going on?
Talk show host Jerry Springer has died. He was 79. Robert Thompson is a professor of TV and pop culture at Syracuse University. Says you never knew what was going to happen on the stage.
For all of the talk that people gave about how, sleazy and exploitative and everything it was, Jerry Springer himself would occasionally talk about how it was one of the shows that really gave a population of people who had very little representation on television a chance to talk.
Springer was also the former mayor of Cincinnati and a news anchor. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is shrugging off Disney's lawsuit against him.
Disney is suing after the Republican governor's appointment of a board of supervisors in its self-governed theme park district, alleging DeSantis waged a targeted campaign of government retaliation.
I don't think the suit has merit. I think it's political.
Disney has opposed a law in Florida critics call Don't Say Gay.
Part of having a vibrant market economy is that you're not picking winners and losers. And the days of putting one company on a pedestal with no accountability are over in the state of Florida.
DeSantis was speaking in Israel on the third leg of an international trip as he prepares for an expected run for president. The bill opposed by Disney in Florida bans classroom lessons on sexual orientation and gender identity in early grades. I'm Ed Donahue.
The KMOX Business Desk. Most people planning a summer vacation say they'll be cutting back on plans because of the economy. That's according to a new survey from Bankrate. Analyst Ted Rossman tells Total Information AM there are ways to economize and still take time away.
See if the deal can dictate the destination. Maybe you could go somewhere a little off the beaten track, maybe somewhere midweek.
Rossman says summer travelers report they're doing a few things to economize this year, picking cheaper accommodations, less expensive destinations and activities, and driving instead of flying. The Dow from Stifel is up 329 points to 33,631.
KMOX AccuWeather mild, some showers, even rumble of thunder this afternoon. High 64 to 68 tonight. Some rain and drizzle, then a shower late, down to 52. Clouds giving way to some sun, up to 68 tomorrow. Sun at times Saturday. Can't rule out a shower, high 68. Cooler Sunday with a shower or two in the afternoon, high 61. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Dean DeVore in the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
It's a cloudy sky, 61 in Florissant, 60 St. Peter's, and 60 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Brought to you by your Lennox Premier dealer, Scott Lee Heating.
Make sure that your home's heating and cooling system is being cared for by your local Lennox Premier dealer, Scott Lee Heating. We're offering special saving opportunities on a new Lennox system, so call us today at 314-756-9444 or visit us online at scottleeheating.com to learn more.
The show, sponsored by the Cardinals. Cardinal tickets for 2023 are on sale now and start at just $6. Info at cardinals.com.
Amy Marks Coors, Chris Ronji on KMOX. The Cardinals have been struggling. Some people call it the struggle bus. They are on it right now. They have had a difficult start to this season. The month of April isn't even over, and they are several games out of first place. Plenty of time, right? But it is still difficult right now to be a Cardinals fan. And I know there are people out there who are they are also on the struggle bus as a result of the Cardinals' start to the season. Well, the chief executive officer of Communities Healing Adolescent, Tom Duff, is with us here on KMOX. And Tom, I'm told, will be able to talk us through this. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on. Great topic.
Yes. So, all right, being a sports fan is really dumb, but it's also kind of great. But it also can cause a lot of pain that's totally unnecessary. How should a person handle it, like the rest of us who are having difficulty while their team stinks?
Well, it's all about the fan experience, right? And so that means when you're a fan, it's going to be a range of emotions. And so at times we have to peel back the layers with that and figure out what's driving us behind that, because, you know, we're investing our time, our money, our feelings. And, you know, here in St. Louis, it's about community pride, right? In regards to this fan experience of being a Cardinal fan. And so first and foremost, you got to kind of remember that this is an experience. And with that are the ups and downs that come with that.
What are some signs that people should recognize that they are maybe taking their fandom too far?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you know, when you're talking with your friends and your friends feel embarrassed of you because of the way you're reacting, right? That's a clear sign that if you're out and about and you are embarrassing yourself or your friends and someone's pointing out to you, that's where you got to go. But, and seriously, you know, you got to first remember to breathe, right? And I'm not just talking about in through the nose and out through the mouth for good times to help yourself relax, but metaphorically kind of slowing down and taking a look at what's going on. And if you find yourself overreacting because you're not looking at the facts, then you know you're going a little too far. So we're 25 games in, you know, that means there's 137 more games to go in a season. And so you have to kind of just slow down, look at the facts, and also realize, you know what? I actually don't know all the information that the team knows. So maybe I am overreacting. So first and foremost, I think you gotta breathe. Secondly, you gotta talk. And so when you're talking to those friends, you're going to point things out to you. But at the same time, who are these friends that you're around and you're talking to? Is misery loves company from that perspective?
Tom Duff is the CEO, the Community's Healing Adolescent Depression and Suicide Coalition for Mental Health, or CHADS. See, all of that's great and everything, but what if I do know more than the team?
Yeah. Well, you know what? You got to check yourself at the door sometimes, right? You got to know yourself. You got to be able to kind of recognize the fact that, no, I'm not on their payroll. And so, you know, you got to use humor, but at the same time, you have to just know that it's an experience that you're in the middle of.
Tom, I recently saw a headline that home team fans or fans of teams in championship games have a 2 or 3-fold increase of heart attack during that game. And that seems like one of those headlines that you think, okay, people are just trying to get funny topics into the news. But a friend of mine who is from Kansas City had a heart attack right after the Chiefs Super Bowl win.
Oh, my God.
And had to go to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying, yep, it raised the levels, or, you know, this can raise the levels if you have issues like that to the point where it's dangerous. Have you seen that, where something, whether it's a heart attack or someone really takes a turn for the worse mentally?
Well, let me add to that. So is there a greater danger of to your health of being too excited about your team as opposed to being too angry about them?
So I really think it's you know, relative to the person, right? And everyone has their own health issues. And so I think having that awareness over who you are and what excites you, it's very possible for you to have health issues as it relates to, you know, your blood pressure. Just think about you two yourselves, right? When you're experiencing the highs and lows of a game, when it's the bottom of the ninth inning and your team blows it and they lose that game, your pulse is at a different level than what it was. And so that body response, that physiological response, that cognitive response, you have to be aware of that. And that's why it's really important, you know, from just a basic mental health purpose, because we're also losing sleep too when they're on that West Coast swing, right? And sleep means everything. You have to be aware of your own self. It's that know thyself kind of principle from that regard.
Okay, so since you have studied, you know, the psychological effects of people being sports fans, do you ever say, could it be that your excessive enthusiasm is really projection or referred pain or referred anger or excitement from something else, and people take all of those pent-up emotions and express them through sports?
Yeah, we use sports, I think, as a society as a break, right? From the daily grind that we have with work, with family stressors and everything in that regard. It's supposed to be relaxation, but a lot of times what we end up doing is putting such a focus on that, and we're all wired in different ways, right? And so we put that focus on our relaxation of sports, and we get invested in the team. And I will say, you're talking to, a Cub fan right now, so I understand. I understand where, St. Louis is feeling right now. Now, I'm used to it over the years, right? But the reality is we're trained and wired in certain ways. And so it's really important for individuals to kind of take that perspective and also unplug, right? We talk about unplugging a lot from social media. But sometimes if you're finding yourself that upset, where you're throwing things, you're angry, your mood at work is upset, and all you're talking about is Cardinal baseball right now, you need to unplug for a bit and gain that perspective back.
I lived directly across the street from Wrigley Field when they won the World Series. I am not a Cubs fan. Am I a modern marvel because I was able to live in the middle of all of that without losing my mind? I was in the midst of thousands of Cubs fans while this was going on, and I did not lose my mind. So what does that mean about me?
You're a very resilient individual.
Thank
you. You can handle adversity. Now, sometimes I think I'm a glutton for punishment because I live in St. Louis and I'm surrounded by Cardinal Nation on 100% of the time. And that's part of this process as well too. Opening day for St. Louis is huge, right? And our expectations in St. Louis is the Cardinals be in first place. So there's a part of this that's a grieving process as well too, that the season has not started the way that you want. So, the whole grieving process from denial to anger to bargaining, right now there's denial and anger occurring that, they're not 25-0 at this time.
All right. Last bit of advice before we let you go. What is the one thing that you want to leave people with if they feel like they are, you want them to be invested, but if they are too invested and it might be hurting their health, what's one bit of advice for them?
You have to unplug, guys, with anything, right? From just an overall well-being perspective, take a quick breather. Don't read the tweets and the articles one day. Look at the score and remember, this is so early in the season that not a lot of these games are going to make a big difference. We have 137 more to go. And as a Cub fan would say, there's always next year.
That's the slogan for the Cubs.
Yeah, we don't want to hear that yet. It's April. All right, Tom, we appreciate it. Thank you for the help talking us off the ledge.
All right, you guys can do it. Take care.
Thanks, Tom. That is Tom Duff, Chief Executive Officer, Communities Healing Adolescent Depression Suicide Coalition for Mental Health, also known as CHADS. So what he's basically saying, Cardinals fans, is relax. And if there's any bit of advice that ever works for anybody is when you're told to relax.
Yeah. Just calm down.
Just calm
Don't
down.
be hysterical. Stop being hysterical. Calm down. It's just a game.
Yeah, it's just a game. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Actually, nothing makes you angrier than when you're like, just a game. Like, you know what? I will punch a hole in your face if you say that again to me. Yeah, it's just a game. So what?
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's not just a game.
But for real, though, you need to calm down.
Yeah. Come on. You got to think of the kids.
It's okay to criticize the Cardinals. They're not good right now.
Okay, I know we got to go, but have any of your girlfriends ever
Why do you say like what the hell
because
does
you've
that
got so
mean?
many of them
No,
that
I do not.
The sample size.
I have friends
is
who are
adequate.
ladies. Yes.
Your friends who are ladies, have they ever said like, I'm embarrassed to watch a game
No,
with you?
because I don't outwardly rage.
Yeah.
I might internalize it, and I should have asked him, is that worse? Because I will.
Okay, well, I will say, is it worse? Just knowing you as a person, yeah, it probably is.
Yeah.
I feel like you're projecting into other areas.
You need to relax.
I do.
Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji. She went on a trip.
Oh my gosh.
And almost died. We'll
I
tell you
almost
about.
got killed.
You're always almost dying.
I know. That's why my mom wants me to have a life alert.
One of these days, fate has to go through with it. Amy and Chris. Sorry. I love you, on KMOX.
I was in New York. I was just in New York for the week, and I went shopping at Hudson Yards, and very upscale. And I look at all these stores. There's the Gucci store and all these other name brand stores, and then there are like 4 or 5 cars on display, and they're really striking. They were just stunningly sleek, and they were Genesis. They were Genesis cars, truly the best kept secret in luxury. If you are looking for a luxury vehicle and you haven't checked out a Genesis, you're missing out. You absolutely need to go to Genesis of St. Charles. Now, Genesis of St. Charles is part of the St. Charles Automotive Group, along with St. Charles Hyundai and St. Charles Nissan. And Genesis of St. Charles, on that same campus, a quarter mile east of Mid-Rivers Mall Drive, just off Highway 70. You can also visit them online right now on your phone, on your laptop, genesisofstcharles.com. Right now, they're conveniently located in the St. Charles Hyundai showroom in St. Peters, but they just broke ground on a brand new building right there, that same St. Charles Automotive Group campus. That's going to open in the fall of 2023, but you need to go visit them. Visit them today, tomorrow. They have got some aggressive goals that they want to reach for the end of the month, so they are ready to make you a great deal. And again, when you talk about luxury, you talk about sleek, eye-catching. That's Genesis. Visit them today at Genesis of St. Charles, genesisofstcharles.com.
We go where you go. 1120 AM, 98.7 FM, KMOX.com.
I studied Spanish in college and never got fluent. But then I tried Babbel.
Want the most effective way to learn another language? In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons will have you learning another language in as little as 3 weeks.
Babbel is all conversation-based, so it gets you speaking quickly about things you actually talk about in the real world.
You'll really see a difference in how you can speak and how conversational you can be in just a few weeks.
Babbel isn't just lessons. You can listen to podcasts, play games, watch videos. You can even take live online classes with a language teacher. There are so many ways to learn with Babbel.
The lessons online and in the app make it easy to learn from pretty much anywhere.
University studies have shown that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a semester of college Spanish. If you want to learn a new language, there's no better way than Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
You have more control over how much you pay in taxes when you retire than at any other time in your life. Don't miss Your Retirement Professors, Saturday afternoons at 1 on St. Louis's News Radio, KMOX.
Yes, Epics and Classics featuring John Anderson with the Band Geeks. May 9th, the Family Arena, Progressive Pioneers. Yes, Epics and Classics featuring John Anderson with the Band Geeks live. Reserved seats on sale Friday 10 a.m. at the Carroll House box office at the Family Arena or through Ticketmaster. Don't miss Yes, Epics and Classics featuring John Anderson with the Band Geeks.
All right, you feel good tonight?
They're back, cocked and loaded. The Family Arena presents 38 Special with special guests Molly Hatchet in Black Oak, Arkansas. Saturday, November 19th, the Family Arena. Tickets on sale now at the Carroll House box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster.com. Presented by the Family Arena.
KMOX, the 2023 Large Market Radio Station of the Year, recognized by the Missouri Broadcasters Association. KMOX, we were built for this.
Amy Marchkors is back from New York City.
New York City?
I'm Chris Ranji. It is KMOX. And, well, you're not dead, so that's good. But you almost died again. Why do you, every time you go somewhere, you have a near-death experience?
Well, that
One
is
time it was a
actually
grizzly
true.
bear.
A grizzly bear almost fell off a mountain. Okay, this was a rookie mistake. And anyone who lives in a city will know this was partly my fault. The thing about New York City, everything is iconic. Everything is something that you've seen in a movie, that you've read about, that you've talked about, you've sung about in a song, whatever it may be. The whole city is fantastic. I love it. One of the best places in the whole wide world. So Mason Jar and I are on the subway waiting for the train. And this particular train and station, for some reason, wasn't that crowded. There are some where it's just, right, like you're sardined. We weren't. There were just a few people. And so it was, believe it or not, Fifth Avenue. We were at Fifth Avenue. And I saw the sign and I thought, you know what? I haven't talked to my mom today. I'm going to take a picture of the Fifth Avenue sign with the arches. It's Fifth Avenue in tile, kind of pretty, because I'm from St. Louis. So everything is awesome in New York. And I go to take a picture and I hold up my camera to get the Fifth Avenue sign across the train tracks. And it's kind of like when you try to take a picture of the moon. When you're looking at the moon, it's unbelievable. And as soon as you put it in your frame of your camera, it looks like a little dot and you're thinking, this is not worth taking a picture at all. So I hold up my camera and I go to take the picture. It's not right. I move the camera over a couple inches, still doesn't look good. And right as I'm deciding I'm not going to take this picture, a very sketchy fella walks into the frame of my camera. And then I obviously recognize that he's in the frame, but I'm not going to take the picture. And I put my camera down. Objectively, absolutely, it looked like I held up my camera to take a picture of this super sketchy looking fella.
Mm-hmm.
And I put my camera back and he's kind of standing several feet away, maybe 10 feet away. And he looks at me. And I look at him and I like look down because I'm like, oh my gosh, don't make eye contact. He looks at me again and he starts walking over. This man has most likely killed some people, probably feels like that.
That's a hell of an assumption.
I know. I'm just saying it was a very much a look of like, I could kill you and you wouldn't be the first. That's what it looked like. And he walks over to me and he goes, did you take my picture? And I go, no. And he gets in my face, holds his finger in my face and starts pointing. Did you take my picture? I saw your camera. I said, no, I didn't take it. I saw your camera. The train is pulling up. The doors open. People start walking. He's like, you took my picture. And I literally like run onto the train. Somehow Mason Jar didn't pick up on what was going on. I'm not sure. But he goes, he goes, what was that guy asking? What was that guy getting in your face about? And he goes, I thought he was asking, like, do you want a picture? Do you have a picture? It was very odd. And we just, and sometimes you get accosted in New York. And the best thing is to not interact, right? People say things, they yell things at you. Just keep going. It's the city. We get on the train. And I think that's what he was thinking. And then I tell him what happened. So then we look on the car. Did this guy get on the car? Did he get on an adjacent car? Because you can go from car to car.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't see him, but for the rest of the trip, I thought he was going to find me and kill me. And it was not good. I will say, it was scary enough. He's like, did you take my picture? And he's pointing at me that I was upset afterwards because I realized that really could have gone south.
So, I mean, why'd you take his picture?
I didn't take his picture.
Well, it sounds like you did.
I didn't even get a picture of Fifth Avenue. And so then...
It sounds like you took his picture and we're going to give it to the feds.
No. He looked like, again, someone who would not want me to take his picture. And so
you need to be more careful.
It was a rookie mistake. So then
what are you just now living in a society where you find out that people don't like it when you take photos of them?
Here's the thing. In New York City, everybody has their phones out all the time. And there are so many tourists that people are constantly holding up their phones to take pictures. It's just that in that particular setting, in the subway, I would not recommend taking pictures because that happened. And it was a rookie mistake. It probably looked like I took his picture.
You can do it. You can take photos. Just don't be awkward like you.
Well, I was awkward. And so Mason Jar told me not to take my phone out in the subway anymore. He's like, and one time I did take my phone out and he's like, no. And he like grabs it. He's like, put it down.
Well, you're probably like, this looks like a real New York gang member.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a photo.
Okay. Also what happened, because it's New York, guess what? We arrived Saturday morning.
Hold on real quick.
Oh my gosh.
Did he have a lot of face tattoos? Is that why you were?
There were tattoos everywhere, and it wasn't just the tattoos though. You can have tattoos and be fine. It was the whole ensemble.
Okay.
And it was the look of, again, I could
sounds
kill you
to
right
me
now.
like you're typecasting.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
He's probably a good guy.
He definitely didn't want his picture taken.
He's probably a family man, and he's like, I don't know, I just want my privacy. And this stupid lady from probably the Midwest is taking my picture without my permission.
You're probably
I might
right.
have to kill her.
It might have been like the CEO of Ernst & Young or something. I don't know.
I'm saying, no, he probably goes to work every day, lives his life, wants to go home, eat, sleep, go back to work, take care of his young daughter.
Listen, I've got a question that's nothing to do with the guy that almost killed me. This has to do with Billy Joel. And what happened was we got there on Saturday, New York, Saturday morning. Guess what?
Billy Joel's playing
Madison Square Garden.
You got to go. You have to go.
We had been talking about getting concert tickets to see Billy Joel. The whole reason we were going to New York in the first place was my sister celebrating her birthday, is going to her favorite jazz artist in
But you just
New Jersey.
You just glommed onto her party. She wasn't you weren't part of the plan originally.
Originally we weren't invited, which was a little hurtful, but we invited ourselves and said, let's go to this concert, celebrate, have dinner. And the concert was in New Jersey. We just stayed in New York. So we'd been talking about seeing Billy Joel. And guess what? We decided Saturday, we show up. We're in Central Park. We're eating lunch. We thought, what the heck? Let's buy Billy Joel tickets. It's New York. You only live once, baby. So we pay $300 for some Billy Joel tickets on Saturday night. We go back to the hotel. Mason Jar's getting ready, and I'm waiting. And I thought, you know what? Playoff hockey, baby. I got the time. I'm off, right? It's Saturday. I turn on TBS watching hockey and realize, hey, the Rangers are playing tonight at 8 p.m. at Madison Square Garden. So is Billy Joel. And my guess is the Rangers aren't playing Billy Joel.
No.
And so we bought tickets, and the concert had been rescheduled to Tuesday, which was the night of the jazz concert. And we didn't see Billy Joel, and we lost $300.
I mean, jazz is fine, but you have to go see Billy.
We should.
Your sister will have a birthday next year. I can't believe you
We
didn't
should probably
go.
do a Twitter poll or something.
I don't know how to describe that in 2 sentences on Twitter.
314-436-7900.
Amy should have gone to the Billy Joel concert. Forget her sister's birthday. Nobody cares. It's Amy and Chris on KMOX. I care. Happy birthday.
Weeknights at 6. It's the Gray Bar Sports Open Line.
Do welcome you in right here on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley.
Matt Pauley has everything sports, from what's happening with your Cardinals,
A lot of Cardinals baseball stuff. A lot to get into.
to the sports news of the day,
Let's talk a little St. Louis Blues hockey.
interviews and special
The
guests.
head coach of the St. Louis University women's basketball team.
It's all waiting for you with Matt Pauley.
It's all coming up.
The Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Weeknights at 6 on KMOX.
Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. That's 314-752-5000. So if you need some extra cash, looking for that one-of-a-kind piece, make Jewels on Hampton your first stop. Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills.
When you retire, you'll probably leave a lot behind. The daily grind, the long commute, maybe even the alarm clock. But one thing you will take with you, a tax bill. Oh, and did you know that income taxes could be your single largest expense in retirement? The good news is Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group can show you how it's possible for you to pay less to Uncle Sam with the right tax planning. Join the All Financial Group for an exclusive educational workshop focusing on taxes in retirement, May 9th or May 11th. These events are complimentary, but you must qualify to attend. Call 636-230-8824 and send your future self a gift in the form of lower taxes. 636-230-8824 or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, LLC, BWA, a registered investment advisor. BWA and the All Financial Group, LLC, are independent of each other. Insurance and annuity products are offered through Stephen All, Missouri Insurance Licensed 803-9738.
11:30, it's a cloudy sky, 62 degrees downtown at the Arch. The U.S. economy slowed sharply from January through March, decelerating to just a 1.1% annual pace as higher interest rates hammered the housing market and businesses reduced their inventories. CBS News correspondent Jim Krasula reports on a precedent-setting legal settlement.
It's considered one of the largest financial settlements of its kind ever in the U.S. A lawyer says a for-profit company that ran a Texas jail has agreed to a $7 billion payout in a lawsuit over the 2019 death of a woman who jail staff allegedly neglected as her health worsened.
Hey kids, the St. Louis Cardinals want you to read a book. The St. Louis County Library announcing on National Library Outreach Day that Cardinals Care has donated $200,000 to sponsor a new bookmobile for the library's aging bookmobile fleet. The forecast for tonight, we'll have a rumble of thunder this afternoon, rain drizzle this evening, followed by a shower in spots late tonight. The low 52 for tomorrow. Clouds give way to some sun with a high of 68. Saturday's high 68 as well. Can't rule out a shower. Right now 62 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Broadcasting from the Underlying Tree Lawyers. GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Are you sick and tired of being cooped up for over 2 years? Getting hammered with old school advertising? Buy 2 windows, get 2 free? 50% off labor? Or pay no interest for 2 years? My grandson Elijah says,
"Are you kidding me?"
How about a breath of fresh air and windows, doors, siding, and decking that is attractive, durable, energy saving, available in up-to-date colors and styles at wholesale pricing? My name is Julius Krasanik. I am celebrating 50 years in this industry. Our local and family business is Wholesale Siding Depot. Please visit our website, wsdepot.com. That's wsdepot.com for name brand products from Anderson Windows, Certainteed Siding, Viwinco Windows, Provio and Therma-Tru Doors, and AZEK, TimberTech, Envision, and Trex Decking, to name a few. We also offer a free contractor referral service to take care of all your installation needs. Keep it local, family, and professional. That's wsdepot.com.
Hi, I'm Paul Goldschmidt.
Hi, I'm Miles Michaelis.
I'm Adam Wainwright, and you're listening to the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
It's the Cards and Giants this afternoon. Ameren Total Access 150. First pitch 2:45.
KMOX is Cardinals Radio.
Hi, I'm Paul Goldschmidt.
I'm Cardinals outfielder Lars Nootbaar.
I'm Woodson Contreras.
I'm Paul DeYoung.
Now, Chris and Amy give you the birds.
I'm Jordan Hicks, and you're listening to the show on KMOX.
Goldschmidt holding the bat high. The pitch, a swing and a ground ball to the second baseman. Throw to second, out on to first. A double play in this ball game has come to an end. Estrada to Crawford to Flores, doubling up Nootbaar and Goldschmidt. And the Giants beat the Cardinals tonight 7-3.
Yeah, thought for sure that there was a comeback about to happen last night in San Francisco, but it was not to be. This Cardinals report brought to you by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated. RennerDoor.stl.com. It is Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji on KMOX today. We are hoping to talk to Matt Pauley. Sounds like he's big timing us. You think Matt's got something better to do?
Or he's dead because...
Dude, what if he is now?
I know. That's what I mean. That's why you always got to be careful when you make those jokes, Ron.
Nah, because you could just say, well, I didn't know.
I think he was sick.
Is he sick?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But I thought he was going to join us sick, so he big-timed us while he was sick.
He absolutely did.
Which is extra rude.
It really is.
It's like you're sick and you're
sick of this crap, maybe.
Yeah.
So the Cardinals lose again, and right now it is a very difficult situation for them. There was always the possibility they'd go through a rough patch.
Mm-hmm.
We knew that pitching could be an issue. Mm-hmm. We talked about it before the season even started. They have had some difficulties on offense at times, which I don't think is going to be their biggest problem moving through the season. Ultimately, this team is going to score runs, I believe. But at no point did I think, and again, it is April 27th. At no point did I think they would be this many games out of first place. They are 8 games out of first place right now. It's not the biggest deficit in MLB. The Royals are also 8 games out of first place in their division, and the A's are 9.5 back. The A's are trying to move town. They are trying to get the hell out of Oakland.
And the Royals
in fact, they're
don't
going
count.
to.
They're barely a real team.
Yeah,
They're
that's true.
barely in Major League Baseball. I feel like, you know how in soccer, the English Premier League, the Champions
The
League.
relegated.
The relegated. I feel like the Royals are always on the verge of being relegated to AAA. Just the entire team.
Yeah, well, it's not really a thing, but I know there are a lot of people out there who think it should be a thing
Do you think
in American professional sports.
could the Memphis Redbirds beat the Kansas City Royals today?
No, I mean, there might be, look, if they play 10 games, the Memphis Birds would lose 9.
But the Jordan Walker's on with Memphis now.
Right. But, well, I mean, when people say the thing like Alabama football could beat, I don't know, the worst football team. All right, the Bears last year.
Yeah.
Alabama could beat the Bears. No, he couldn't.
No, even I know that.
They can't.
Right.
It's a minor league team. Doesn't mean they couldn't win one. They could steal a game every now and then. But speaking of, you mentioned probably the biggest story aside from the Cardinals' early season struggles, and I don't think it's going to continue to be this bad as the season goes on, but I'd be lying to you if I said I'm not concerned.
Mm-hmm.
I think there should be concern. I think any reasonable person watching this team play right now is concerned about what's happening and the failures so far this season. But the other part of the story is Jordan Walker.
Yes.
Who was their number one prospect coming into the season. And I guess you could still call him that because he hasn't accrued the service time to be a rookie. I mean, if this was the end for him, like if he didn't come back at all for the rest of the year, he's still going to be their top prospect. I'm surprised they made this move at the time they made it. I know they have a gluttony of outfielders that going into the regular season, I thought there would be some sort of deal made to clear up some space. However, Walker probably surprised them a bit in terms of how well he played in spring, and he kind of forced their hand into promoting him as soon as the season started. So maybe they weren't thinking that far ahead or didn't really believe that would happen. But I'm stunned they did this with their top prospect, who usually what happens is when a guy like this gets called up, even if it's to start the season, they usually get a lot of leash. It's a long time before they say, okay, this is not working out. We're going to move on and, go back down to AAA, get your work in, play every day. And then if things go well and we have a need as the season goes on, we're going to call you back up. Usually that doesn't happen with top prospects. It does sometimes happen, but normally when a top prospect is called up, they're there to stay for a considerable amount of time before any kind of move like that is made. So I'm a little surprised this happened right now.
Does this remind you at all of what happened with Colton Wong and how he was bumped down to AAA? When the team was struggling, even though, Colton Wong wasn't the reason for the struggles, but that same thing.
No, because
the team was struggling. He's a top prospect. They send him down.
Well, he wasn't like Jordan Walker was in baseball, MLB, one of the top few prospects. Like not just the Cardinals top. He was what I think going into the regular season, MLB Pipeline had him maybe 2 or 3 in all of baseball in terms of prospects. I'm positive he was top 5. This is a little bit different. I don't know what this means for him. I kind of hope there was an arrangement with him that, like, look, you knew this could happen at any time, or maybe they told him we would potentially do this as the season goes on, but he's got to play every day. That's the problem, is that you've got too many outfielders. He's not necessarily getting the opportunity to play every single day. And if that's the case, then he's not really helping you, and you're not helping him by having him on the roster.
Well, and Taylor Motter's journey to this spot was a bit circuitous. So the Cardinals brought back Taylor Motter, but only a couple days ago, they had taken him off the 40-man roster. He cleared waivers. He was assigned to Memphis. Then he opted to become a free agent, and now he's back. All of that within 36 hours.
Yeah, that's a pretty big, it's quite a journey. I'm sure they assumed that could happen, and they probably told him that could happen. And it does happen sometimes. So it's really not that unusual. I'm just really, I don't know what to think moving forward. I think Walker is going to be a really good player. He definitely needs some help and more reps in the outfield. He's not very polished out there. I think he can be at least a serviceable outfielder, but his tool is the hit tool. He's going to hit. And I really do think he's going to be very good.
In sports, there you hear the phrase, oh, versatility. We have so many guys that can play so many positions. And whenever you hear that, that's just code for we don't have any really good guys at one position.
Sometimes.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm seeing. That's what I feel right now is what's going on with the Cardinals. If you have a lot of versatility, what you're saying is we don't have any outstanding masters of that position. I don't know if that's unfair right now to say about the Cardinals, but I mean, the outfielder, I mean, it's been the proverbial blender as far as the lineup goes, right? At least in the outfield.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, you've got too many guys. You've got too many guys for that many positions, and they apparently don't feel like he has just taken the position and run with it and said, okay, this is it. It's his. There's just no way that we can move him from that. And even though I don't think he's looked terrible by any means, would like to see him slug more. The problem is he's hitting a lot of balls on the ground, and they probably want him to get more line drives, get more lift, and maybe they feel like being in AAA for a while will help him get there. And I don't know, maybe that is the right recipe for him. It could be that he could have learned at this level, but they, I guess, feel like this is not the place for him to do that right now for a team that has put itself in a major hole early in the year and has to dig its way out.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, the Cardinals are 9-16. And you can say it's super early. It is. It's still April, but at some point, even before Flag Day, Mike Claiborne's Day, even before the middle of June, if you find yourself 10 games, 12 games below 500 in May, which potentially could happen if the Cardinals are keep on with this trajectory, things could get worse before they get better. You have to start to worry.
Here's how I feel about it right now. Antennas are up. I'm not at that point where I feel panicked. And look, we talked to Tom Duff, who was I guess a sports psychologist in a way, trying to talk us off the ledge, and he was great. Go get the podcast. Go listen to the podcast later when the show is over on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Listen to the Tom Duff interview that we did right at the start of this hour, and he will give you some tips on if you're a Cardinals fan. And if you are currently very upset with the team, he'll talk you down a bit. So do that. But right now, for me, I'm not in that panicked state. I feel, here's how I'm looking at Cardinals games. Every time a game like last night or the night before happens, I look at it and I say, that's not good.
Yeah.
I right now I'm in this is not a good trend the way they've been playing. I'm not saying they're doomed for the rest of the season.
Although I will say, to be fair, part of Tom Duff's reassurances was to simply say, there's always next year.
Well, that doesn't really work for us.
I know. Yeah, it's not good. It hasn't been a lot of fun. I'm at the point where I don't feel like the Cardinals are a team that can win a game. Like, oh, if they get behind tonight, in the score, they can come back and win. What I feel more is this is a team that's going to lose the game tonight.
Amy.
I know. I'm just being honest. That's the trend, right? There are two feelings with a team. When you are playing well, when you're not making mistakes, when you are doing all the right things so even luck works in your favor, you go into a game, you fall behind on the scoreboard, and you think this team can work its way back. I am at the point right now where when the Cardinals are ahead, I'm more nervous that they're going to lose. I'm just being honest.
You know what? You're right, though.
I'm just being honest. It's not a dig. I'm just saying that's where it feels.
And that's how I guarantee you the majority of Cardinals fans who watch every day.
Yeah.
If you've been watching this team pretty much every day, and that's not everybody. Most Cardinals fans are casual. They love the team, but they'll watch every now and then. If you're watching every day, that's how you feel.
Yeah.
That's how people feel like, okay, what's going to go wrong today?
But the thing is, that's just being a sports fan. It's not a dig against the team. It's all right. We know that this team is better than what they're playing. I love, as you mentioned multiple times, the shorter games. I am keeping up with the Cardinals more than ever because it's something I can wrap my brain around. It's not a 4.5-hour game. I don't have to worry about that. I know the games they're pretty snappy. So last night, turned on the ball game, listened to John Rooney on KMOX. That is, to me, it's been easier to keep up with the Cardinals. And so you get the vibe. You get the vibe of, I'm not feeling confident right now. That could change on a dime.
It could. And I think they're better than they've played, as you've said. They need to do it quickly, though, because you don't want to be 8 games back in June. And that's not to say you can't come back. And they have done that before where they've overcome massive deficits. And we've seen the other professional team in town overcome a really big deficit to win a championship. You can't count on that happening. Yeah, it can happen, but let's not play with that.
Was it 2019 that the when did the Cardinals have their 17-game winning streak? 2021?
I think it was.
Why can I not? COVID has messed everything up.
I think it was 21.
Yeah, it was after COVID.
It was like 17 or 18 games.
Yeah.
Right?
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, don't count on that.
No, I'm not counting on that.
Don't count on that happening.
So
they need to get it together quickly.
I watched Moneyball. It was on in the
you.
hotel room, and it made me think of that 17-game winning streak. Anything can happen.
You ever heard the thing about Brad Pitt in every one of his movies? He's like always chewing on something.
I have.
He's always eating.
It's true, though, right?
In all the Ocean's movies,
Yeah.
he's eating in every scene.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing it in Moneyball. He's chewing on tobacco and spitting it out.
Mm-hmm.
What's that all about?
Maybe it's his calling card.
I guess. He looks pretty cool eating.
You know, you're right. Maybe he has a stupid resting face. And so in order to not look stupid
He has to be chewing
and
on
stay,
something.
good looking, he has to be chewing or talking. That's actually
Yeah.
a pretty good theory.
Maybe it is. I know Costanza had the theory that you seem relaxed and cool if you're eating something when you talk to somebody else.
Yeah.
He's like, so I'm gonna seem not nervous at all. Gonna call this woman and I'll be eating an apple, and she'll think I'm cool and I don't care.
Yeah. Huh.
You should try that
There must be something to it.
and relax. Amy Marks-Kors and Chris Ranji with us, with you, with us. I don't know what the hell's going on. Cardinals play today. It's an afternoon game, 2:45 first pitch. That means the pregame show's at 1:50. They will take on the Giants this afternoon. You can listen to it on KMOX and the Odyssey app. You can stream it for free. Amy?
Well, just last week, Sean Timothy Long, the STL and STL Fenceworks, he visited Studio B. It was fun to catch up with Sean. He's been with me, and STL Fenceworks has been with me since I joined KMOX years ago. And STL Fenceworks, they are locally owned and operated. They're family owned and operated, as they have been for over half a century. They're also proud and excited to install American-made aluminum and vinyl fence products, as well as American-made decking. Let's start with the fencing. They have partnered with Jareth Manufacturing. Now, Jareth invented the aluminum fence industry over 50 years ago. Their product is wholly sourced and manufactured in the United States. And STL Fenceworks is the third largest Jareth customer in the world. And don't forget, STL Fenceworks is also tops when it comes to maintenance-free decking. They are the #1 distributor of Wolf Cellular PVC decking in the Midwest, and Wolf Cellular PVC is proudly manufactured in the United States, and it was voted the #1 maintenance-free decking product in the country. Visit them today at stlfenceworks.com. They'll make your backyard dreams into a reality. Your satisfaction is their passion at stlfenceworks.com.
Celebrate 10 extraordinary St. Louis area women for their outstanding volunteer service and leadership at the 2023 Women of Achievement Luncheon at the Ritz-Carlton St. Louis. From volunteer leaders in human welfare and arts and education to multicultural advocacy and humanitarian concerns. Come celebrate the 2023 Women of Achievement on Tuesday, May 9th at the Ritz-Carlton St. Louis. Doors open at 11:15 a.m. Reservations at WOASTL.org. Presenting sponsors are KMOX Radio, St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and Ladue News. For more information, information, visit WOASTL.org.
Charlie Brennan sees clearly thanks to Dr. Bertie and Malhotra. You can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
The check engine light is on in Washington, but politicians keep driving the car as if nothing is happening. There it is again. It's Social Security. A new government report says the Social Security Trust Fund is projected to run out by the year 2035. If that happens, it would cause all beneficiaries to take more than a 20% cut to their benefits. What does that mean for you? When should you start taking benefits? And how can you get every dollar of Social Security you're entitled to? The team at Heisey Advisory Group has been helping families optimize their Social Security benefits for over 17 years, and they can do the same for you. Give them a call, 314-328-4400, to schedule your visit with one of the advisors at Heisey Advisory Group. Again, that's 314-328-4400.
Investment advisory products and services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor, and Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor with the SEC. AEWM and Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC are not affiliated companies. Our firm is not affiliated with the U.S. government.
Software engineer for Equifax Inc. in St. Louis, Missouri, to develop strategic design and requirements on small systems and modules of large systems. Requires bachelor's degree in computer science, engineering, or related field, willing to accept foreign education equivalent, plus 5 years of experience in software design and development. Or alternatively, a master's degree in computer science, engineering, or related field, willing to accept foreign education equivalent, plus 3 years of experience in software design and development. Qualified applicants mail resumes to jobs.opportunities@equifax.com. Reference position number 10692.
Prepare an emergency kit, sign up for local alerts, and make a family communications plan. Get started today at ready.gov/plan. A public service message brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. Dude, I'm here for the show.
What show?
St. Louis, this is your show.
The show.
The show on KMOX.
Chris and Amy on KMOX. Good morning
Good
to you.
morning.
We're reaching the afternoon almost. It's almost time for lunch, baby.
I've been eating all day.
You really do. You graze a lot.
Do you know what? I just want to say rotisserie chickens from Schnucks or Dierbergs or Straub's or Whole Foods
Yeah,
are delicious.
they really are.
You talk about an easy meal.
I don't like cutting the chicken.
Just rip it apart.
Yeah, but then I don't know. I want it to be clean cut, right? But I don't like doing it. I
The
watched Gordon
rotisserie-
Ramsay do it once,
Yeah.
and he's brilliant.
The rotisserie chicken you don't like cutting? I mean, I wouldn't want to cut a raw chicken.
Yeah, the rotisserie. It's too difficult.
It's so
You have to cut the strings.
tender, you can just rip it.
I don't like cutting the strings.
Like the strings of the chicken or
Yeah,
the tendons?
No, the strings of the chicken. How they wrap it around the legs. Why do they do that?
To hold the legs together.
What do you need that for?
Because it would
Just let
look
'em
weird
flail.
if they're all akimbo.
I think it'd be really funny. You have one of those big racks of rotisserie chickens,
The
and all the legs
legs
are
are
flopping around. Would it make you? You'd be like, I'm not eating that. Oh, that's a great visual. Just go to your Schnucks or Dierbergs. You see the rack of the chickens
Yeah.
rolling around, and there are like 12 of them in there.
Yeah, that's like
Just imagine the legs flopping around.
like the free range chickens. That's
like
what-
they're still fighting for their lives.
Oh my gosh, Ronj, now that's dark.
What?
They're not fighting for their lives. They've been dead a very long time.
What was the thing with Steven Spielberg?
Steven Spielberg has criticized the practice of re-editing older films based on modern sensitivity. So specifically, he regrets taking out the images of guns in his blockbuster movie E.T.
Right.
from
In a
1982.
re-release of a movie.
So in the 20th anniversary edition, which would have been 2002, the special agents in E.T. had guns, but he replaced them for the 20th anniversary edition with walkie-talkies because guns are not popular. Quote, this is what he said, quote, "That was a mistake. I never should have done that. E.T. is a product of its era. No film should be revised based on the lenses we now are, either voluntarily or being forced to peer through." End quote. So in 2011, he had already said that the guns would be returning for the 30th anniversary release, explaining that he was disappointed in himself. And so he doesn't think that we should be changing movies that were released earlier to appease our modern sensitivities, and I would agree. I think we need to know, what were people doing? What were people producing back in the day, whatever that day may be, the 80s or the 40s? You can put a warning on it and say some of the content may be offensive. But even think of a movie that's as famously offensive as Blazing Saddles and purposefully offensive. Put a warning on it, but if you were to take out everything that was offensive in that film, first of all, it'd be a 17-minute film. It also wouldn't be representative of Mel Brooks' vision. And whether you like it or hate it, you need it to be accurate in order to critique it according to truth.
I want to disagree with you, but I can't. I completely agree when it comes to this stuff. And I've heard people try to liken it to taking down statues of people. I don't think that's the same thing at all. Putting up a statue of a slave owner or of the president of the Confederacy, that's glorification. We don't need to glorify that. But what you're talking about with movies is art, and it's a product of the time. I don't think we should go back and change those things. Same deal with books. Amy Marks-Kors and Chris Ranji on KMOX. We'll recap what you missed so far next.
If you're thinking about selling your St. Louis area home, you might be a bit overwhelmed by the process, especially in this market. Take it from me, Debbie Monterey. I strongly recommend that you call and spend 5 minutes getting to know Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria understands that you have questions and that selling your home can be stressful. Gloria has mastered the home selling process with her Guaranteed Sold program. It simply states Gloria will sell your home at your agreed to price and time frame, or Gloria will buy it. So what's Gloria's secret? Gloria already has the buyers. Fact is, your home may already be sold. Let Gloria show you how she nets her sellers more money and how she sells faster on average. Need more proof? Check out Gloria's 5-star reviews and get moving. Call Gloria Liu today at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Over 30 years ago, it was that can-do spirit which helped the founder of Reinhold Flooring start the business, installing Reinhold quality carpet and beautiful flooring himself. Now, Reinhold Flooring is still family-owned and operated and winning St. Louis Magazine's best flooring store 2 years in a row. With Reinhold Flooring, it's not about the sale, it's about the amazing floor to perfectly match your house and your life. Customer-driven since day one. Visit ReinholdFlooring.com. With so many ideas you can do it with the can-do crew at Reinhold Flooring. ReinholdFlooring.com.
Manor Grove has been caring for seniors for over a century. Everyone at Manor Grove is treated like family, and that's exactly how our residents should feel, like family. Our staff strives to make Manor Grove feel like home. Be assured, your loved one will be well taken care of at Manor Grove. The entire Manor Grove team views everyone inside as family and looks forward to seeing residents and coworkers every day. See for yourself at manorgrove.com and take our virtual tour. Welcome home to Manor Grove.
KMOX, KEZK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is Flea for This Little Light, a podcast about falling in love with music. I started a nonprofit music school about 20 years ago called the Silver Lake Conservatory of Music. The reason that I started doing this podcast was music education. I'll be speaking with Rick Rubin, Thundercat, Stuart Copeland, Margot Price, Corey Henry, Cynthia Erivo, Sheila E., and Patti Smith.
Please listen and follow This Little Light, a presentation of Cadence 13 on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Get some reusable bags for the grocery store and recycle paper, bottles, and cans to make every day Earth Day. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Awarded 2023 Large Market Radio Station of the Year by the Missouri Broadcasters Association, KMOX.
At 12 noon, it's a cloudy sky, 64 degrees downtown at the Arch. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour, the controversial Delmar Loop trolley reopened today, and its supporters see reason for optimism this time.
In its 5 years, the trolley has mostly been out of operation. Financial problems, low ridership, mechanical issues. But longtime supporter Joe Edwards says those days are over. Bi-State Development is now in charge, and the costly infrastructure is already in place.
It's a small amount of money to tweak it and make it work. It would cost way more to take it out.
Edwards says a third trolley car will be added this summer. They'll run Thursdays through Sundays, 11 to 7 until late October, and there's no cost to ride. Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
If police departments are hiring, who's applying?
It seems like throughout the recent years that no one wants to be a cop.
Officer Josh Lambrich with Arnold Police says his last class at the police academy in Jefferson County only had 5 members. He says they had over 20 a decade ago. Pay has been an issue.
It's getting better, but there's low-paying jobs. I mean, a lot of departments, they don't pay their officers. They don't pay their officers a lot, and they work 12-hour shifts, and it's difficult working days and nights.
Officer Lambrich is in charge of restarting the Police Explorers program in Jefferson County, where teens as young as 14 can learn what it's like to be a police officer. We'll have more on that Friday on Total Information AM. The Biden administration has announced it's opening migration centers in Guatemala and Colombia for asylum seekers headed to the U.S.-Mexico border. CBS News correspondent Cammie McCormick.
Migration is the definition of a challenge that no country can solve alone.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken.
We are facing an unprecedented migration challenge.
A surge of migrants is expected as COVID-era rules expire. This will set up migration centers in other countries to try to prevent people from making the often dangerous journey to the southern border.
It's an approach focused on making migration more safe, orderly, and humane.
But it's unclear whether these migration centers will slow the tide.
Talk show host and one-time Cincinnati mayor Jerry Springer has died outside Chicago after a brief illness. According to his family, he was 79.
Jerry Springer admitted that if you were not outrageous, you couldn't be on The Jerry Springer Show. The show ran for 27 years with themes like hooking up with my therapist and proud to be a homewrecker. Springer said in a 1998 interview he had fans, he got complaints, and he impacted pop culture.
We read articles, the White House has been Springerized, and everybody knows what that means. You don't have to explain. If you're walking down the street and there's a crazy situation, someone says, hey, that's the Jerry Springer Show.
Springer served as a Cincinnati council member in 1975 and as its mayor in 1977. I'm Archie Zaraletta.
The KMOX Business Desk, another smart device that's getting bricked.
Amazon will be posting quarterly results right after the markets close this afternoon. The online retail giant has been cutting costs recently by laying off around 27,000 employees. Amazon is also ending its Halo Health trackers, which will stop working on August 1st. If you bought a device in the past 12 months, you are eligible for a refund. Dan Schwartzman, Bloomberg Radio.
Dow from Stifel's up 325 points to 33,627. We've got a crash on Olive around I-170 in Woodson. There's just a lane open in each direction. Avoid Olive near I-170.
Some showers and even a rumble of thunder pushing from south to north through the afternoon, and some rain tonight early. Mid to upper 60s for the high, and a leftover shower into the overnight down to 52. And then we should brighten tomorrow afternoon and get up to 68. Sun at times on Saturday. Can't rule out a shower. Upper 60s, closer to 60 with some shower possibilities Sunday. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Dean DeVore, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by Champion Floors. It's a cloudy sky, 64 in Florissant and St. Peter's and downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Champion Floor Company is known for their customer service. It's a big reason why they've been serving the community for 34 years. If you're looking to replace your flooring, schedule an appointment at championfloor.com. Champion Floor, delivering excellence every day.
The show, sponsored by the Cardinals. Cardinal tickets for 2023 are on sale now and start at just $6. Info@cardinals.com. Time to rewind the show. This is the show recap.
Good afternoon. It is Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji. Good to have you with us. And hope your Thursday is going very, very well today. We started the day talking about the death of Jerry Springer, the very popular talk show host from a couple of decades ago, has passed away at the age of 79. His family said that he had been diagnosed with cancer a few months ago. It must have been aggressive because he passed away. But a huge part of American culture for a while I did not get into the Springer thing. I didn't particularly like the show. A lot of friends of roommates who watched it and recorded it, and it was always on in the living room, and just it wasn't my thing. But there's a voyeurism to the show that we are a voyeuristic culture, and I think a show like his exacerbated it in a huge way, where we really get tickled by watching people that we think are not as good as us struggle and have arguments and fight.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's especially good. It was lucrative for him, and there is something funny and entertaining about it, but I think there's also a bad side to it. Culturally, it made us worse.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people, I think, got that boost from it in the sense that, well, my life is messed up and my family's crazy, but at least we're not these people.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. You got to be able to look down on someone.
Yes.
And that's what that show provided, the people for you to look down on.
I think the urge to do that is not, it didn't happen because of Springer or a show like his. It's natural. People feel that way. Generally, they want to feel better about themselves, and watching other people be out of their minds makes you feel better about yourself. But I just think he worsened it.
Yeah.
And I think that show made it so that we feel like it should be on TV all the time, and other shows tried to mimic it. And so you had the Montel Williams and Ricky Lake and Jenny Jones and all those kinds of shows that tried to be similar and tried to go down that path, which, again, I just don't think it was a net benefit to society.
We also talked about Tucker Carlson being ousted from Fox News. I was in New York the day that announcement was made. No flowers.
You left flowers?
Well, I left flowers and a note that said, "It's not fair. Love, your biggest fan, Chris Ranji," in St. Louis.
Nice.
Yeah.
I hope he calls.
He might. He's got the time.
He
now.
did have he'll be perfectly fine, and nobody should feel bad for him or anything. And I don't think it's a detriment that he's off that platform anymore, but he's going to find a platform, and he's still going to have millions of people who like to watch him and follow him. That's unavoidable. His statement that he released on Twitter last night, I don't know, man. It really came off to me as totally disingenuous, because all the stuff he was saying in it sounded reasonable.
True. Everything he said was true, but
it's like that's how you made a lucrative career, is doing all the stuff you're talking about.
Yeah, and that's why I think, to a point, that's the real Tucker. That's the Tucker who despised Trump, which we've seen the text talking about how much he despises Trump, how much he did not believe all of the vitriol and lies that he was spreading, except there is that distrust of the establishment, of the elite, which he does express in this video as well, which he expressed in his show, which he would understand more than anybody else because he was part of it. He was part of that very powerful group, sowing discord and relying on the anger and fear of his audience. But I also think he did believe a lot of the nativistic comments that he made that were anti-immigrant, anti-minority. He was a proponent of the Great Replacement theory.
Yes.
That I think he truly believes. He also grifted on election lies. So when you hear his video, you can say, yeah, he knows exactly what he's talking about because he did the exact opposite to make money.
Yeah, that's my problem with it, because all of the points he made, and you can go to his Twitter account and listen to it for yourself. We played it earlier today. They all are salient points, and they're extremely reasonable, but it's all very contradictory to what he is as a television personality, which that is the part that rubs me wrong. We discussed the Cardinals and their struggles, and Tom Duff, who is basically a therapist, tried to talk us off the ledge and said, if you are too invested in how difficult the Cardinals are playing and it's hurting you, it's hurting your soul, you need to unplug.
Mhm.
At least a little bit. You need to still continue to listen to KMOX and listen to the Cardinals games, but don't read Twitter. Don't get fired up about the team just for your mental health. That's it.
That's it. And in the top of the order today, we mentioned Kim Gardner potentially being held in contempt of court yet again. Kim Gardner will appear or has appeared in a courtroom today to, quote, show cause why she shouldn't be held in contempt. Now, if you're wondering, wait, which one is this? Which case are we talking about? Which time being held in contempt of court? I'm right there with you. I've had to make a timeline of all the scandals / accusations / charges of contempt in court following the St. Louis circuit attorney. Now, this latest one that today, it's the result of an assistant circuit attorney who did not show up in court on April 10th. This was a shooting case. This was someone who shot someone on the Arch grounds. This one was an 11-year-old girl who was struck by a bullet. At any rate, this assistant circuit attorney did not show up because he said he had a doctor's appointment. So then the judge said, okay, well, now you need to show up on another date on April 24th with proof of your doctor's appointment. Well, the assistant circuit attorney did not show up on that second date. So now Kim Gardner has to show up today to explain why the previous 2 dates no one showed up. It's a mess.
It is.
It is a dumpster fire.
Well, we've covered this, and I don't know how many different angles we can cover it moving forward until something really happens with her. But it's clear this isn't about... I think for some people it is political. I think there are some people in Jeff City who have it out for her politically, and I don't think there's any denying that. But I would also bet they are very happy all of these things are going on and that there is an incompetence in the office that allows them to move forward with what they wanted to do politically.
Well,
she has not made the job difficult for them. Let's just say that.
Oh, my gosh. No, it's... regardless of their motivations at this point, we just need to save the city, because I mentioned that April 24th date, which was the second date the assistant circuit attorney was supposed to show up with proof of a doctor's appointment. There was another case with another judge on April 24th, and this judge declined to hold Gardner and another assistant circuit attorney in contempt after yet another prosecutor was a no-show for a trial. Now, this trial, the second trial on April 24th, where there was a no-show from the prosecutor's office, was the trial of Jonathan Jones. He was the one who was charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action for the September 6, 2021 shooting death of a man near the Gateway Arch.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, it's all
piles up. It's hard to keep track.
Right. It's all those things. We discussed. We've told you about the Cardinals. We tried to find Matt Pauley. We located Matt Pauley.
He's alive.
So he big timed us, but not on purpose. He was sleepy.
He took something.
He took a melatonin because his throat's scratchy. He's having a scratchy throat, so he doesn't feel good. What?
You're so obnoxious.
What do you mean?
Poor Matt.
Oh, poor Matt having a scratchy. My throat hurts. So he's not feeling well, and he took a melatonin last night, and he says it hasn't worn off. So he snored through our entire appearance.
I believe him, except melatonin doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I think he's lying.
You know
also.
what knocks me out?
You know what it was? Probably weed.
No.
It's probably a gummy. He said, it's melatonin, but it's a gummy.
No, you know what knocks me out? So I don't take it because it's scary. NyQuil. Like if I take NyQuil at 7 p.m., I literally cannot function until after 11 a.m. the next day. It doesn't matter. I take it at 6 p.m. So even when I was sick, remember when I was sick a couple months ago?
Yeah.
I didn't take NyQuil because it knocks me out. It's like the strongest drug I've ever taken.
It's not that strong.
It's so strong.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
You are such a baby, but I love you very much.
Thanks.
What else? What else did we miss today? I think we got it all, probably, right?
I went to New York and I almost got killed.
Oh, that's right. You almost got killed in New York.
I made a rookie mistake. I wanted to take a picture of the Fifth Avenue sign on the subway for my mom because, Fifth Avenue, famous. Hey, I'm in New York. I go to take a picture. I hold up my camera, and it's just like when you take a picture of the moon. In real life, it's stunning. On your camera, it's barely visible dot. It's underwhelming. So I try to take this picture. The frame's no good. The picture's no good. I'm not going to take it. And as I'm lowering my arm, a suspicious fella walked into the frame. It looked very much like I took his picture. I did not. And then he got in my face and was like wagging his finger at me. Did you take my picture? Did you take my picture? No, I didn't take your picture. I saw the camera. I saw your camera. Did you take my picture?
You
and
took
I
his picture.
Thought I was going to get murdered.
I bet your picture's on the camera roll.
It's not. I know
If I were
what's
to look at
funny?
your phone.
This guy looked like he was going to murder me, and I almost opened up my camera roll to show him all the pictures on my phone. I don't know this guy anything. So I got on the subway train. He did not. It was very Jason Bourne because if he got on the train, I was going to get off the train.
You were always almost dying. I'm glad you didn't, though.
Thanks.
That's Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. I've got a number of things we want to get into with you coming up next on KMOX.
St. Charles Nissan, right now, they are offering 0% APR financing on select Nissan models. That is now through May 1st. And May 1st is just around the corner. It is already April 27th. So you want to head on over to St. Charles Nissan. Now, it's part of the St. Charles Automotive Group with St. Charles Hyundai and Genesis of St. Charles, conveniently located a quarter-mile east off Mid-Rivers Mall Drive, just off Highway 70. You can also visit them at stcharlesnissan.com. But head on over there. I mean, it's one-stop shopping. It truly is. With St. Charles Nissan, they are motivated to make you a great deal because it is the end of the month. It's one of the best times to buy a car. I mentioned the 0% APR financing. But why St. Charles Nissan? Not only the one-stop shopping, but they have a huge repeat customer base. Over 50% of their customers are repeat customers. And we're not just talking like, oh, yeah, this is the second car I've bought from them. We're talking generational repeat customers, grandparents, parents, kids, and that's because the employees, the management, the sales representatives that you'll work with, they've all been there a really long time, 10, 20 years or longer. When you buy a car from St. Charles Nissan, a lot of times you'll have the same representative the next time. You know the people you're working with. It truly is family feeling because it's a family-owned and operated dealership. Visit them today at St. Charles Nissan or stcharlesnissan.com.
2 ways to listen to KMOX in your car. 98.7 in the city, 1120 AM further out. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
When companies decide to take shortcuts, the safety of our families are at risk. At Underlaw, we find and expose those shortcuts.
Call Underlaw Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618-9 million.
I studied Spanish in college and never got fluent. But then I tried Babbel.
Want the most effective way to learn another language? In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons will have you learning another language in as little as 3 weeks.
Babbel is all conversation-based, so it gets you speaking quickly about things you actually talk about in the real world.
You'll really see a difference in how you can speak and how conversational you can be in just a few weeks.
Babbel isn't just lessons. You can listen to podcasts, play games, watch videos. You can even take live online classes with a language teacher. There are so many ways to learn with Babbel.
The lessons online and in the app make it easy to learn from pretty much anywhere.
University studies have shown that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a semester of college Spanish. If you want to learn a new language, there's no better way than Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
You know, the Midwest Money slogan, isn't cash in the bank better than scrap in the drawer? This is Johnny Rabbit to tell you that's for sure. That's Midwest Money, the oldest coin shop in St. Louis. Buying, selling, and trading since 1971. Silver and gold, coins, sterling silver, antique firearms, military relics, uniforms, flags, medals, daggers, and more. Not sure what you have? Bring it to Midwest Money at 5900 Hampton in South St. Louis to find out. Plus, Midwest Money is home of the largest model train layout in St. Louis. And the first Sunday of every month, bring your family to see this great model railroad exhibit, and it's free. My advice to you is to bring your collectibles to someone you can trust. Midwest Money at the corner of Hampton and Holly Hills. So come on in. They'd like to meet you at Midwest Money. You'll be happy you did.
Recently been noticing for about the last year or two that there's warnings on TV before you watch a movie. It says something, it'll say something like involves violence, smoking, alcohol, language. There was one that was about fear. I have to ask you, what the hell is that crap all about? Kind of leads me into where I know you're all thinking this has nothing to do with heating and air conditioning, but it actually does. Point I'm trying to make, I'm looking for customers that need their furnace or air conditioner fixed, that they don't want to be bamboozled, scammed, or lied to. If you're that way, you are definitely my customer. I will shoot you straight. Call me, Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600, or you could do the internet thing. It's bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I, and of course, .com.
Trusted information, live and local. From the award-winning KMOX newsroom.
Amy Marks, Coors, Chris Ronchi on KMOX. Man, are we having a good time today, are
Oh, man.
I was worried sick about. I haven't seen you in 15 years, it
I
felt like.
know. I really missed you, Ron. I'm so glad that we get today together because, guess what? You're leaving tomorrow.
You're damn right.
He's doing it out of spite. He just wants to be gone.
No. Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, in New York, you look around, just the most incredible city. You can't compare any other city to it. Riding the subway,
Tokyo.
which is awesome. Well,
London.
It's still different.
Hong Kong.
You know what?
All right, go ahead.
I'm
sorry.
glad you're leaving tomorrow.
Very sorry. Dubai.
Yeah. It's just, okay, love the subway. Rode the subway the whole time. Super easy to get around. Public transit here in St. Louis is a joke. And I know that's rude. And there are really nice people who are trying to make public transit work here in St. Louis, and it's not working. Here's my hot take. You can tell me I'm wrong. The Metrolink's just not going to succeed here. Unless something drastically changes and instead of hemorrhaging residents, we start bringing in more residents, we start bringing in more businesses and restaurants and get people to the city using the Metrolink other than baseball games and hockey games and the hot couple of hours around then. It's just not being used enough. The feeling on the Metrolink is that it's not safe. That's why I don't use it. I'm just being completely honest. I don't feel safe on the Metrolink. I tell people who come to the city, don't use Metrolink. We've heard about the attacks. We heard about the security guard who was shot in the head and killed. Well, just a few days ago, an East St. Louis man was charged with multiple crimes because he attempted to rape at least 2 women. I'm not going to go into detail here, but he was charged with 2 counts of rape or attempted rape and 1 count of sodomy or attempted sodomy. In these 2 instances on April 18th and April 19th, this was at one of the underground Metrolink stations in downtown St. Louis. It was the April 18th incident was at the Convention Center Metrolink station. It's pretty descriptive what happened. It's very upsetting. And just reading the story, it just made me feel like this city, this attempt to have public transit here is a joke. We're not taking it seriously. It's not safe for the commuters who need it every day. It feels like there's not enough security. We keep having the same conversation every time someone gets attacked or shot in the head or raped. We get the same conversation that, well, we are looking into things and we're going to up security. Okay. When is it going to be safer?
Well, here's where I think you're wrong, is that I think it's a lot safer than you believe it is. The numbers provided by Metro, and this was back in January, where there were criminal incidents. They put all criminal incidents together. 10 per 100,000 riders. That's really not that big of a percentage. Now, that doesn't mean that for those 10 people per 100,000 riders, that's not a big deal for them individually. It is, but I think the Metrolink is probably safer than it's given credit for. And it is necessary. Now, we could talk about expansion and whether or not expansion makes sense. I think that it probably does to an extent. I don't think we can have a sprawling subway service because I'm not sure that this area is dense enough for it. But it is still very necessary for people.
Necessary.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're always going to have the Metrolink, and we're always going to need it because we have people who don't own vehicles, who do need to get to work, and this is one way they do it. They'll take the bus to the Metrolink and then maybe to another bus, and their commute is absurdly long because they have to do all of these things. And while it may not ever be a Chicago-style subway or New York-style subway where everybody's using it to get to anywhere they go, we still do need it for people in this area who don't have other modes of transportation.
Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe they break down the numbers. Bi-State breaks down the numbers in more detail than I'm understanding. But the reason why I feel like the 10 per 100,000 riders is not truly illustrative of how safe or unsafe the Metrolink is, because my guess is the thousands and thousands and thousands of riders of that number are baseball games and hockey games. And so it inflates the numbers. You have a ton of people. When the highest density of people are on the Metrolink, nothing bad's happening. But day to day, when there is no event, how safe is the Metrolink? If you were to take out all of the numbers of baseball games and hockey games, and you take that ridership out, how many people on the Metrolink and how many criminal incidents are taking place?
Well, how often is it reported? Because I think we see this story. I don't know the last time I've seen a Metrolink, somebody get raped story or an attempted rape or an attempted murder on the Metrolink. It doesn't happen that often, but I think when you see the story in your mind, and this is true for a lot of people, not just you, I think it's, see, that's it. There's danger. It's danger. You can't get on it because it's always like that. I think that for the vast majority of people who write it every day for work and not just for Cardinals or Blues or concerts or whatever, I think their experiences are not nearly as bad as the perception is in this town.
I don't know.
We are going to talk to Pamela Falk. We'll talk about what's happening in Sudan. That is coming up next. And Pamela Falk, Amy can thank her for the nice little vacation and the nice little tour that you got.
Yes.
Good for you. I'm so happy. Pam Falk from CBS next on KMOX.
I think there are a million interesting conversations to have.
There's always great conversation waiting on the Dave Glover Show.
Where I think we're going so very wrong is that we no longer read, we no longer research, we no longer study. Our version of that is Tucker Carlson or TikTok. Newsflash, get ready to get blown away. These people aren't always the most honest.
The Dave Glover Show, weekdays beginning at 1 on KMOX.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 3.5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/free. Ramp.com/free. ramp.com/free.
Close your eyes for just a moment and envision yourself behind the wheel of your brand new Nissan, and then head to St. Charles Nissan to make that dream a reality. And right now at St. Charles Nissan, get 0% APR financing on select Nissan models. St. Charles Nissan was the winner of the Nissan Award of Excellence last year, so you're in excellent hands. Great selection and 0% APR financing on select Nissan models, just a quarter mile east of Mid-Rivers Mall Drive off 70 or online at stcharlesnissan.com.
At 12:30, it's cloudy and 65 degrees now downtown at the Arch. The government's report today that the economy grew at a 1.1% annual rate last quarter signaled that one of the most anticipated recessions in recent U.S. history has yet to arrive. Many economists, though, still expect a recession to hit as soon as the current April to June quarter or soon thereafter. Too many teens are eating too few breakfasts and not enough vegetables, according to a new CDC survey. Details from CBS's Alex Tin.
75% of America's high schoolers weren't eating breakfast daily in 2021, up from just 67% who skipped breakfast in 2019. That's according to new CDC results from their biannual survey of high schoolers around the country. Most trends either were the same or worse compared to 2019. That includes the proportion not eating vegetables daily, which climbed from 41% in 2019 to 45% in 2021.
A local developer has plans to turn an aging and emptying shopping center in Creve Coeur into a new town center with apartments, hotel, retail space, and a pedestrian plaza. Green Street Real Estate Ventures plan for Creve Coeur Plaza on New Ballas has been submitted to the city, according to the Business Journal. That shopping center currently has some empty storefronts, including a Tuesday morning store that closed in February and several restaurants. And in that area, we've had a crash on Olive near Woodson and McKnight. And looking at the camera, just in the last 60 seconds or so, it looks like Olive has completely reopened. Those police cars have moved away and traffic
we got about 3 weeks, and then all of this grain is the deal may dry up, and then grain prices will go up, and more people will starve around the world. So it was pretty grim to hear him go through what are non-answers and not solutions to the problems. But he came and he left, and now Switzerland takes the chair on May 1.
Pamela, thank you again. We enjoy talking with you, and I'm looking forward to taking you
welcome,
up on
Chris,
the invite.
and you are invited.
Okay, great. I will be there at some point.
Thank you so much, Pam.
All right. Take care, Amy. Take care, Chris. Bye-bye.
Pamela Falk, CBS News correspondent covering the United Nations, and she's really, really great. And I don't want to hear any more, Amy.
Are you embarrassed?
About what?
You're kind of a sore loser.
You're stupid.
You know, you can really tell you were an only child.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, God. There's of anybody in this room that tries to make everything about them.
It's Tyler.
Other than Tyler, it's you.
Oh, my gosh.
Can I tell people about Ophthalmology Associates without you getting on my case here?
Sure.
Okay. Well, Amy can't see very well. She can't see reality in front of her. I don't know if Ophthalmology Associates can help her with that, but they can help you with your eyesight because maybe you've got blurred vision, or you have itchy eyes, dry eyes, or maybe it's something more serious, cataracts, or maybe you are in the market for LASIK. Maybe it's a thing that might work for you. Well, the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates will be able to determine that for you. Just make your appointment, give them a call, and visit with one of the doctors there. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, or Andy Royer. The number is 314-966-5000. They are experts in LASIK. If that's what you need, they'll do it, and they are going to do it very well. They treat doctors in the area of all kinds, and they do so because they are so good at what they do. And this is true at Ophthalmology Associates. Again, that phone number to make your appointment. And by the way, a lot of insurances will cover this for you, or at least a portion of it. So it's something you need to do every year. Get your annual eye exam. 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
Celebrate 10 extraordinary St. Louis area women for their outstanding volunteer service and leadership at the 2023 Women of Achievement Luncheon at the Ritz-Carlton St. Louis. From volunteer leaders in human welfare and arts and education to multicultural advocacy and humanitarian concerns. Come celebrate the 2023 Women of Achievement on Tuesday, May 9th at the Ritz-Carlton St. Louis. Doors open at 11:15 a.m. Reservations at WOASTL.org. Presenting sponsors are KMOX Radio, St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and Ladue News. For more information, visit WOASTL.org.
It's the Zero Res Spring Flash Sale. Get a free hallway with any of your carpet cleaning packages with 3 rooms, Zero Resified, starting at just $129. Call Zero Res at 314-474-2020 or go online at ZeroResSTL.com for the DGS special.
Remember your childhood piggy bank and the satisfaction you felt finally reaping the rewards of your diligent savings? With TrueHold, you can access your biggest piggy bank, your home's equity, and start enjoying the retirement you plan for right now without having to move. Here's how. TrueHold will buy your home for its best current value while home values are high. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. Plus, TrueHold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance too. And since TrueHold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Start enjoying your home's equity while values are high. Visit TrueHold.com and discover how much TrueHold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
Track your blood donations right from the palm of your hand and stay updated on special promotions. Download the American Red Cross Blood Donor app today. To learn more, go to redcross.org.
Amy Markscourt.
Fabulous.
Chris Ranji.
Unbelievable.
On the show.
Wrapping things up here before the Dave Glover Show starts in the crossover hour. It's early baseball today, 1:50 pregame show and a 2:45 first pitch. The Cardinals will finish up against the Giants today. They need a win. They need a win desperately. A couple of text messages came in about the conversation we had in regard to the Metrolink and the woman, the attempted rape that happened here. Yeah. And this text message says, hold on a second, I lost it. I hate these things.
The text system we have is not great.
It's a really bad system, but there seems to be no other system. Amy is doing exactly what the national media do to make St. Louis seem like a murder hellhole.
I work down here. I live in the city every single day.
Are separated, so they ignore the metro area stats and just take the city. Amy is wanting to ignore the good stats of the metro and only focusing on the bad.
You're right. That's exactly what I was doing when I said, quote, I don't ride the Metrolink. Genius. Continue.
That was it. That was the text message about you.
Amy is doing what the national media do. Oh, come on. Get a grip.
Well,
what do you want me to do? Not talk about the Metrolink? I work in the city every day, multiple times. Sometimes I'll come down to the city more than once a day. There is a Metrolink station near me.
No, he's saying you ignore
the
metro stats that I gave, the 10,000 or the 10 per 100,000.
Wonder if this guy uses the Metrolink.
I don't know, man.
You can
Maybe.
text if you do.
And then also another text message who disagrees with me. You have a very unrealistic perception of crime and living conditions in the city of St. Louis. I listen to the show every day, and one thing I can say is you're consistent. The city is a very dangerous place, especially in the north part. The Metrolink is also a very dangerous place, especially at night. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. I live here, and this is from a person who goes on to say they live in St. Charles. I, with all due respect to you, I live in the city. I live in the city limits. I work downtown. You do not.
But I did. I work downtown
not
every
you.
day.
I'm talking to this
Oh, yeah.
texter.
And I did live in the city. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do. And I have also taken the Metrolink. I drive here because it's more convenient for me. It's quicker, and I have a car. So I do that. But what we gave were the numbers. And I'm not saying there isn't a violent crime issue in St. Louis. There is. But I think we make it worse than it actually is. And the perception of it is worse than the actual reality. You are not literally in danger every time you go outside in the city of St. Louis.
No, and the thing
There's
is, like,
too much crap. There's no question about that. But you're not in danger every time you walk
No,
outside.
I mean, I work
and that's
down
what
here.
people think, though.
Yes, and that's not true either. Does the city have a crime problem, a violent crime problem? Absolutely. Is it as bad as people out in the county say, in the sense that you can't even walk downtown? Well, of course not. We work down here. We walk down
But that's what people, a lot of people who live out in the suburbs think. Is that you can't even step outside. There are bullets whizzing by.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there is stuff that happens, but you are not in physical danger every time you walk outside. That's just ridiculous.
And with the Metrolink stats, again, I want to know the numbers when you take out baseball game Metrolink traffic, because that's the thing. Do you know what makes the Metrolink safe? A whole lot of people.
Right.
And so if I had to go on the Metrolink, going on the Metrolink at 2:00 in the afternoon on a Tuesday, 11 o'clock on a Thursday night, or surrounding a Cardinal game are not equal experiences.
Well, here's what, of course, you're right. But what I will tell you is I often see people, younger people, kids with backpacks getting on the Metrolink station near Washington University. I see them downtown. I see people going to and from work. If it were that bad, so my assumption is they do this regularly. They use the Metrolink regularly. And so my assumption is they wouldn't be using it regularly if it wasn't relatively safe for them.
Yeah, and my guess is not all stops are equal. Obviously, downtown by the convention center, that's where the guy was attacking women, attempting to rape women. Maybe that's different than the hustle and bustle of the Central West End, where you have all the hospitals, you have Wash U. Stop to stop can be different.
But also some of them are coming from the city where you would deem it to be bad.
I mean, I'm just saying personally, I don't use it.
I don't either, but I don't have a need for it. If it were closer to where I lived and it got off closer to here, I might, because it would make the commute shorter, but it is much faster for me to use a car. But that's not true for everybody. Dave Glover's show is coming up. Thanks for listening to KMOX.
How are balloons made? Where did the dinosaurs go? Why is the sky blue?
Your kids ask